Welcome to the Legacy Through Land podcast, where we're dedicated to empowering you on your journey to land ownership and management. I'm Tyler Markham, your host, and each week we'll dive deep into the world of land investing, management strategies, and the transformative experiences tied to owning your very own piece of dream dirt. With our expert guests, inspiring stories, and actionable advice, we're committed to helping you become a better land manager, hone your investing skills, and start building your family's legacy through land. Now, let's dive into this week's episode. We hope you'll enjoy.
All right, this is episode, I don't know whatever it is. I keep doing good and then I don't do good. This is what I know. It's definitely an episode for sure. I've been real excited about this one, and I say that every week. But Brett, how can someone not get excited about the most controversial social media reel poster, not afraid to say switchgrass is trash guy, Brett Smith? So thanks for being on, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I just speak from the heart. I don't know if it's for everybody all the time, but I don't know. Just try to be a normal guy.
Well, speak from the heart, but I will say, I think what you also do that I appreciate, and we're going to dive into this, but you speak from the gut. Like you're out there doing things. You're out there seeing things. You are not like I used to be in, house flips and all these real estate masterminds, and all the guys in there were gurus. Like they were gurus. They didn't do the business. They were just gurus. They were just a bunch of, gurus. And so I coined this term do-roo. I'm a do-roo. I'm out doing this. I'm in the trenches doing this. And so I just love watching your stuff because, if it's from its, the seat of your vehicle or it's out in the field, like it's you being out there, sharing your opinions from what you are seeing. It's not just your made up, chat GPT that morning. It's what you're seeing.
So many people see like a YouTube video or just like see a theory on something, and it's just like, that's the way it is. Like you gotta like test stuff. You gotta get your own experience with anything. And so that's just what I do.
Dude, I listened to your Hunter podcast multiple times. I think it was one of their best podcasts. And
appreciate it, man.
I told them that. I did. I said, I just really think there's a lot of buzz. Like there's a lot of buzz in the outdoor world about consulting now. Like it's sexy and it's the thing and it's the juice. And admittedly, there's times I'm like, gosh, I wish I had thought of that. But I don't have near the pedigree that you guys do. It is. It really is. And it's I don't know. It's kind of concerning, at times, but that's why I've really been excited to have you on, because I'm not kidding. I think I've watched enough of your stuff. Obviously, Brett and I have never met in person, but I've watched enough of your stuff to kind of feel what I believe is your heartbeat. And I like that you're not afraid to kind of challenge the status quo. And we're going to dive into that. So backing up here, we can't race yet. Where is home for you, Brett?
Yeah, home is on the road pretty much, but I have a house in north of Green Bay. Yeah, literally yesterday I drove, well, not yesterday, in the last 36 hours I drove 18 hours down to a farm to go help a client and then back. But now I live north of Green Bay. I've lived in Kentucky. I've lived in Michigan. I've kind of lived all over and obviously hunt all over too. But Green Bay-ish is the home place right now.
So the I've Been Everywhere song is kind of like your theme song.
Literally this year I was everywhere from Texas, Oklahoma, shoot up to Vermont, down to Georgia, up to northern Minnesota. And that's this calendar year already. Everywhere in between, pretty much.
Dude, and I'll just go back to your podcast so many times with Hunter. So if you guys haven't already listened to it, I'm just going to hijack every question they ask, but just better because I love hearing me say that. But dude, what I really respected, and you just said that you've been in a lot of places. And I remember you saying like you didn't feel comfortable saying you would consult or do things until you had really experienced in that environment firsthand what deer do, how they act, what they like, what they don't. And I would trust myself to do a consult in the Midwest or, where I hunt. I would trust myself to do a consult. I think I could provide great value, but period. I've never hunted in Texas. I've never hunted in Georgia. I've never hunted as north as Vermont. I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it because I wouldn't say I know what your deer do in Georgia. I don't know what their preferred, is kudzu a thing in Georgia? I don't know. Like I wouldn't do it. And so that's got to take a ton of time too. I remember you talking about that, and I'm guessing you've been blessed to be able to have the time to kind of go and real world experience these places. You got a family, you got kids, kind of what's that look like?
Yeah, family, kids, everything like that. But even before that, thankfully, I worked for a company. Before this ever started full time, I worked for a company in sales, and I was just flat out, like, I'll just be honest, like, I was pretty good at my job to the point where I could do it like 20 hours a week. And then I just had the rest of the week. And like my boss lived like hours away. So like never really saw the guy. He didn't know how little or how much I was working. He just knew I was hitting numbers. And then my wife was going to some secondary schooling where she was doing like 16-hour days in clinicals and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm going to travel the country. I'm just going to go hunt, but I'm going to ask myself why when I'm hunting. Why is stuff happening the way it's happening here? And so that's where I gained a lot of my experience and just like spending time in different places. Like the hill country of Ohio is not the same as the hill country of Southwest Wisconsin. Like there's different variables and stuff like that. And so if I learned a lot of that stuff and I could then interpret it to clients, like I just feel like that was something that was missing in the marketplace. Like you get guys, and no offense to them, I think everybody's got their lane, but you get guys that kill a big deer on the same farm every single year. That doesn't make you an expert in a state 500 miles away necessarily. They're all different, but I don't want to be knocking these guys either, because guess what? If I had a farm that, I mean, I'll be honest, like a guy like Don that produced like 200-inch deer every year, I wouldn't be leaving either. So like kudos to him for doing it the way he's doing it. I just wanted to do it different.
Yeah, dude. So you'll have to take this with a grain of salt. I've become friends with Chris Brackett, kind of like more than just a like, watch Chris in social settings type thing. But, Chris is like, and he'll tell you if he was on here, like love it or hate it kind of guy. Like he his don't care meter is like so low that I respect it. Like I really do. And it's just funny because when you say, he and Don, I actually asked Don last week, like, hey, if you and Chris were willing to like just kind of have it out in the parking lot and just get this out in front, can I moderate it? Can I be the guy that gets this? And Don was like, yeah, I'll do it if he'll talk. But I'll never forget. Chris is like, man, I don't know what Don's doing. I can only grow him to 183 inches. I don't know what he's doing. I haven't ever seen a 200-inch deer here.
I don't know. I don't know. There's some secret sauce or something involved there. I don't know. Or maybe he's just doing it better than everybody else. I can't put my thumb on it, but it's impressive. I don't know if that's the word. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. I don't know how. Good for him though.
Dude, I think, if we stick with Don for just a second, I'll get us back on track. But if we stick with Don, what I feel like I know about Don, don't know him well. I love Real World Wildlife Products, mainly because I think it's one of the most holistic or cohesive companies. Like where else do you get Miscanthus and Clover at the same company? Like I just feel that they are working hard to really provide all the tools. So guys aren't shopping everywhere. But anyways, I think Don would take you up on, and the hunter guys, he's told them multiple times, come to my farm. I'll buy you lunch. I'll show you everything you want to see. I think he would take you up on it. I mean it. And I would certainly love to do it. And he has people out there every spring and fall or whatever that is, spring that he does it. But I'd love to see it too, just from the concept of, and we're like already in the weeds, but this is fun. He's a big isolation guy. And he talks about that, and he can, from what I can understand, he is isolation. Like that's him. I think you would agree and argue, and I would as well, that like there's farms that you can say isolation. It's a really cool word. It's just never going to happen there. You're in thousands of acres of woods or whatever. Yeah. It's not the same ideology. You can do something different, but you're not going to be like isolation where he has ag, Mecca.
Got to pick the right farm to start with, man. That's all it comes down to. Like we can all give ourselves too much credit, and I do it sometimes too, but like if you ain't got the right farm, it really don't matter. Like that's all it comes down to, really. But give him credit for picking the right farm whenever he picked that. If it was 10 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever it was for him, you got to pick the right farm. So you still got to get credit there. And I will also preface this whole conversation because we're coming in hot about Don right off the rip. Like when I was a lesser habitat manager maybe I was more self-conscious about myself. I was quick to maybe talk a little smack about Don or other guys who were flat out doing it better. And I'll say that, and I will admit that. And now that I'm in the position that I'm in and my business has grown, I see other guys doing it to me slightly. So like, I'll give credit where credit's due. Like he's killing 200-inch deer every year. What am I going to say? You know what I'm saying? So everybody does different. 200-inch deer, I know it sounds crazy, do not interest me. Like that's not my sole goal. It's not the way I grew up, and I'd be lying to myself, and I tried to fake it for a while. It's not relatable for a lot of people, but also the way he's doing it is completely different than me, but kudos to him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
for sure. And
I got no problem admitting that I was a little bit of an internet bozo early on, and I still am. Maybe I'll look back on some of the stuff I say now. But no, when I wasn't where I wanted to be, I was like maybe clickbaiting and doing stuff like that too. So
I don't find myself being an internet bozo ever.
I appreciate it.
I don't find myself being that ever.
Oh, yourself.
I never, yeah. I was going to say, I don't ever get accused of being an internet bozo, you know? Man alive.
It's always the guys with dog pictures, like on Facebook. I hate to bash these guys. There's like an algorithm, I swear, of the guys who talk smack to me. They all have pictures of their dog, but not them. I don't know why.
Well, you know what Don said? Don said all the ones that talk smack about him, he said, every time I go to their social media, Michigan. They're all from Michigan.
That's fair. Or it's a bot. Michigan. Or it's a bot nowadays. I get bots just like saying random stuff to me.
Dude, this is good. So I want to back into, and you've done this before, so just forgive me if I'm going to ask you to kind of tell our audience what goes into the melting pot of what made Brett Smith today. And one of my favorite things that I want you to expand on, I was too dumb to go to college. I didn't go to college. Mm-hmm. I did some college classes in high school, and I joke that my wife was in college, prior to us being married. So I was there a lot. I just never went to college. What goes into the melting pot of how do we get to Brett Smith?
Dude, I mean, taking it all the way back, like I literally started hunting with my dad at the age of 3 and went to deer camp every single year after that. So like just always had a love for like the big woods, and I'm talking like wolf country, bear country, like not good hunting. You saw a spike, you shot that thing. And so that rich tradition kind of just started the love for it. As I got to like 12, whatever, we started bow hunting. That was the legal age. 16, if I was 15 even, maybe my cousin would drive us around. We'd go hit public land. Just always a passion. Went to college, and basically when I got to college, I Googled freshman year. I was like, I went there with a broken wrist. I had a broken wrist for 2 years playing sports, and the trainer didn't know what was up. And so I just played sports, rugby and football for 2 years. Ended up going to play college football. And then like I got there, and as a freshman, I would have like kick returned and not much more. So the coach was like, hey, go get surgery on your wrist. Like, let's get this fixed up. And so now like I'm in college with a broken wrist, can't write, can't do anything. And so what I do, I go on the computer. I'm like, what's the easiest college major? That's what I'm going to do. And it was communications. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'll learn to talk, whatever. And, so ended up having to transfer schools. My wife got a full ride to a different school for track. She was All-American. And go to Northern Michigan University, and like stuck with communications things. But as I got deeper into like the back half of college, I was like, I mean, this is a nice, like it's very broad, but like I need to do stuff that I'm more interested in. So then like the outdoor recreation side of things is offered a lot at that school. Camping, like I know you can get college credits for this stuff, but like literally like outdoor winter camping, like survival stuff. And then there's like ecology classes, ecology of the Northern Forest. And so I started dabbling a lot of that from a education standpoint. I was still in college, started shadowing some biologists and stuff like that. I remember getting a hold of the Slock Master, like back in college. I'm like, I want to work in the outdoor industry. And, like that, nothing ever came to fruition, whether I was a bad communicator or whatever the case was. But like, I just knew I wanted to be a part of something in the outdoor industry. And then, like I said, shadowed some biologists, and then just started hunting around. So it was like a combination of 3 things. I would say education a little bit, shadowing guys that knew what they were doing, trying to take in as much information as I could. And then the most important part was just going everywhere so that I could feel comfortable if I went to somebody's property and say, hey, I had a hunt where this happened and this is why it happened, I think. And so we can translate that into your property in this way. So it was a combination of a couple things. But dude, it started off at the age of 3, and like, it just seems crazy. Like my dad would take me out in a sleeping bag, like a mile deep. We're not talking on the back 40, like sleeping bag and like some snacks and like, yeah, I still remember the stuff. I still remember the first deer we ever shot together. I made him shoot like this doe fawn, and I just remember begging him to shoot it, but like just an obsession with it, honestly, from a young age.
So what I find really interesting, Brett, is like, at what point, and maybe this can sort of quantify, how long have you been consulting? How long have you been, and is that, I guess I may be missing it too. Is that what keeps you busy for most of your, let's call it, and I hate these words right now, but income generating career? Yeah. Is it doing land consults?
Yeah, I'd say right now, and we'll get into the land stuff, it's about 50% of it.
Okay.
Dude,
everybody strap in. There's another 50 we gonna get to.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Dude, you know when people like say, oh, I've been busy this year. Oh my gosh. Like I said, I just drove 18 hours in the past 36 just to go help a client. Like it's been nonstop. And normally I take like the summers off, and I feel confident enough where I can do properties in the summer anyway now, but like they just keep piling in. And so I think that's just a tribute to try and be a straightforward, very honest speaking person. Some people appreciate that. Some people don't. but like, I don't know how else to translate why things have literally exploded to the point where I need to bring on employees, but I'm going to be so picky. And I actually got a guy in the works. I said, you need to kill $3 in 3 different states before you ever work for me. And I got him hooked up with a different internship. Like, I'm not bringing somebody out. I'm getting in the weeds here, but I'm not bringing somebody out unless I'm comfortable, because people hire, not to be egotistical, people hire Brett Smith from Whitetail Land Management Services because they want Brett Smith. So if I'm going to send somebody else out there, you're going to be good. And always it reflects badly on me, and that puts a lot of stress on me. So I make sure it's going to be the right guy out there. But now it's dude, just traveling everywhere, and I can only do so much of it. I try to handle it, and family and real estate, new house build, like a million different things going on. But yeah, it's the consulting side of things that has exploded.
So let's, and this is only just purely for fun, because this isn't, Brett's not going to lead with this on all of his other conversation today, but how many consults do you think you cranked out this year, or what, season, or however you would quantify it?
100, about 100.
Jeez.
Dude, all over. Lot. Yeah. And I got little kids at home. Like we're pulling 9-10 day stints. Like sometimes. Yeah. It's just like,
I was going to ask you that earlier. When you said your wife was I think you had said something where she was taking stuff 16 hours at a time. Did you ever kind of bring her into your, travels and all the chaos early, or is she kind of like my wife, who's like, hey, definitely rooting you on, do your thing, love you, we'll be at Target, make money?
Yeah, no, that's what it is too. Like, and she works in anesthesia, so she does pretty well herself. But she's like busy with that stuff. So thankfully things have exploded on my end where I can allow her to cut back and spend more time with the kids. But we got grandma here today, like the family helps out. So we got the whole family on board with this thing. And it would have to be that way, because with the amount of time I spend away, I'm not, it's the one thing I just hate about the job. But you know what? We'll all find things to complain about with any job. And so if that's the worst, I got it, man. My parents, they had worked in mills and factories their whole life to like give me the opportunities that they gave me. So if I'm gonna complain about this, man, somebody smack me in the back of the head. I'll make do. I'll figure it out. Dude,
oh my gosh, Brett, I say this so much, and I have to remind myself. And I'm a person of faith, and I feel like there's,
sure.
I've had some crazy days where I'm building a big barn right now. And most guys, when my close friends know, like, they're like, dude, you're going like full stupid here. I'm like, no, I just want to do it once. Like, I don't want to build 2 barns or 5. I want to build one big barn, and it, radiant heat floor and office space in it, and big enough to pull the trucks through. And I don't want to see equipment. And like, and I'm just, and I come home and I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're never going to financially recover from this. Like I literally, I walk in my garage, and before I walk in the house, I have to remind myself, I prayed for this problem. I prayed for these problems.
I already know what Instagram reel I think you're referring to. Yeah. Like what was, I saw like,
well, we talked about Chris Brackett earlier. I mean, he had one where he said, dude, I think hunters are always hunting for deer. Like they think they're hunting for deer, but they're actually hunting for their soul. They just don't realize it. And like, dude, it hit me so hard of like, dude, 2 years ago, Brett, I mean, I moved my family. It's all this crazy story, but like, we didn't have land here. We didn't have a barn. I was running a land company out of my garage and a farm an hour and a half away with equipment over here and equipment over here and this over here. And signs in my garage. Like people would have been like, what is happening? You're not a company. This is just an idea. And I said, like, I got to do this. I got to centralize everything. I hired a farm manager. He doesn't even have a place to report to yet until the barn's done. Like, I'm just like, well, stuff's over there and it's over here and drive over there. And it's chaos, but I prayed for it. Like, I prayed for that chaos. And so hearing you say that kind of stuff, it's just empowering. It is what it is.
How lucky are we to be stressed by the thing that we once like prayed about?
Literally, that's exactly what I got to say to myself.
And I'll find reasons to complain. I came home last night and I said some dumb stuff to my wife, and she's like, well, yeah, that's your job. Like, that's what and I'm like, you're right. Thank you for like getting me back in my lane. Like, you just find stuff to complain about. And like, I'm sitting in a brand new house right now, a bunch of deer, like I ain't got nothing to complain about. You know what I'm saying? So you got to remind yourself of that and be honest with yourself, because a lot of people are less fortunate than myself or my wife or my family. I mean, and stuff like that. So sometimes you just got to wake up and kind of, whatever, just get over yourself. Honestly, stop feeling bad for yourself.
I got a wife question here.
Yeah.
You're inundated in the outdoors. You're inundated in being, gone around the outdoors. You spend your own free time in the outdoors, like outdoors. My wife kind of sometimes is like, hey, be careful because we have a family too, and hunting and all these things. Like, you need to be, and I've tried to do a lot better in the last. I have a 3-year-old daughter now. I have a 12, a 10, and a 3. So we kind of got like a reset on like kiddom. Yeah. I had 6 and 8-year-old kids, and then had a kid. So like doing the baby phase again, like I'm at every soccer game. I'm at almost every practice. I am at every extracurricular function. It could be October 23rd and 40 degrees and high pressure, but if there's a band concert that night, then I'm at the band concert. Like that's what it is. That is a struggle. So my question for you, as deep as you are in this, how do you manage family and manage work life? And is there tension ever at your house of, Brett, you have dead deer in here. You have all this dirt you're buying. You're going to go help someone else some dirt. You're driving 18 hours in the last 36 to go do something on dirt. Do you ever get that?
Tension with my wife? No, not at all, thankfully, but tension within myself. Like, there's nothing more important than being a dad, being a husband. Like, this hunting stuff, whether clients want to hear us or not, is second to that and always will be. There's nothing more important to that, to the point where we overdo it. We don't, like, if we got stuff to do at home, the kids are here with us. We don't take them to daycare. We don't like take them someplace, and it is stressful, and it's not always the smartest thing to do for your mental health. But like, I'm taking every second I can with my kids, because like, I just hear people talking about, oh man, I wish they were that little again. I wish they were this and that. So I'm just taking in every moment I can. And dude, it's stressful. It's terribly stressful, but somebody's got it worse than me. There's no doubt about that. And I'll never say I got it bad anyway. But no, the wife is like my biggest supporter. And like this morning, even I said to her, we're in the bathroom. We worked out at like 5 a.m. together. And then I said to her, like, hey, I'm sorry, but if I've been a crab ass the past 2 months, like, we got so much going on. And she's like, no, you're good. She's like, we got a lot going on. Don't worry about it. She said, keep going. And so everybody says this about their wife. I think my buddies know it. I think everybody around me know it. Like, jackpot. Hit the jackpot with my wife. Couldn't have found a better woman. Me too.
I always am scared, like, one day she'll finally wake up and be like, wait a second. Yeah. He's a 4. Why did I do this?
Yeah.
And I always am like, well, she finds me handy. Maybe not handsome, but she finds me handy. So I think we have a chance at making this happen. I'm 17 years in, so I think I hope we're doing good still. But dude, it's just, that's why I've been so excited to talk with you. Is the video that I want to dive into is that you said, and I'm going to hold you back for a second, but you said, I kind of hate hunting right now. Like, I kind of hate what hunting is. And maybe this isn't even directly correlated to what we're talking about, but I really, really resonated with you. And maybe it was just in the season you posted in, and, algorithm wise, it was just too perfect. But, I have found myself saying some days, like yesterday, I looked at like 5 properties. There's all this stuff going on. I'm training a farm manager. I had a friend shadow us because he wants to get into land buying. And I get home at 7:30 p.m. And I pick my kid up from soccer. I haven't had dinner. I just pick him up at soccer. I'm dropping junk at the barn. I'm answering phone calls. Garage doors are getting delivered. It's just chaos. And I come home and it's like, is all this for a deer? Like, is all this for a deer? And I have to always back up and remind myself, if I'm not creating legacy through this dirt, and not just deer kills, cool deer kills, I'm missing it. Like, I'm just missing it. If I'm not actually working on how do we create a legacy here? What is the ripple effect that Brett is leaving? What does Brett want people to say he left in them, not with them, or for them? And it's tough. It's tough, especially as a dad that, like, you own your business. It's tough. You got to grind. Yeah. It's a tough grind. It's a tough balancing act. You have kids, you said.
Yep.
What are the ages? What do you got?
We got a 2-year-old, 2.5, and then a 9-month-old. So we're in the trenches right now.
Let's go. You are in the trenches. Everybody pray for Brett. Put your GoFundMe link up.
Yeah, right. No, and so, like, now that I have kids, like, obviously want to spend a lot of time with them, but I want to build properties that they can go and have fun on. Like I said earlier, 200-inch deer don't motivate me. Like, I don't want to say my heydays in the past. Like, I'm always hunting. I'm hunting way more than not anybody else, but the majority of people. But like, my heydays in the past, I've had years where I've killed like 5 mature bucks in 9 days in different states. I've done those things, and it's almost like I made, at that point in time, like, I made hunting a competition, maybe between myself and other people on the internet. Hunting's not supposed to be that. I'm a very competitive person. Sports, the whole ball of wax, like, was very serious into that stuff from an early age. Hunting does not need to be that. And so, like, I've chilled out massively, like, with I don't score deer anymore. I'm not interested in that. I just want to go out and have fun. And so like the technology side of things, like there are people that use way more technology than me now. They will kill bigger deer than me now. They maybe hunt in a way that's more efficient. I just want to do what makes me happy because I fell out of love with hunting, and there's no doubt about that. And the internet, yeah, we can blame the internet, but we're all grown men here. Like, don't let the internet affect your life. Turn it off, turn it off. But
unless it's a good Brett Smith reel about hating hunting. Watch that.
Dude, that one went like, that was the beginning of my my social media. Not that we've exploded, but like, I don't know. I think like Facebook. Yeah, Facebook jumped up probably like 30,000, and Instagram did its thing and whatever else. And so that was like a turning point when I posted that. I was like, people just want not that I'm Lee Lakosky or anything like that, but like people want somebody with a little bit bigger platform to just be a normal person. Like, people
just don't call out the elephant in the room. Like, we're all dancing around this idea that we're not chasing a false idol, or that we're not trying to, chest beat over who killed a bigger deer, or we're not trying, we're all trying to find our identity in something that is a very shallow victory.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Go ahead, Brett. I want you to dive into what the season was like that brought you to that. Where, go into this, because my listeners, this is the deal that I think we all have to remind ourselves. You're not creating a legacy. You're not doing nothing if it's just all about, oh, well, how big was that deer? Oh, well, was he 5? Oh, did you have 7 years of sheds? Oh, did you, what are we doing? So where were you at when all that happened, and can you bring us back into that state?
It was a combination of two things. I went on a hunting trip alone, and I will still do that. Like, I do a lot of camp trips where I go with people, and then I do hunting trips alone, and it's a hard trip. And I come back successful, and I achieved everything I wanted to. And I was like, something's missing here. I didn't share it with anybody. And then I posted that, and then I was on the way home from a long trip, and basically I came to the realization that like, it was that I love sharing camp with people, which is one thing that's more important to me than killing a big deer. Getting my dad involved, my nephews involved, my kids involved, my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, people that don't have the opportunities that I have, even though they're older or whatever. I'd rather get them on the deer. I just would. And then it was a realization of, excuse my language, but nobody really gives a shit what I shoot. They don't. And how do I know that? Because from that day on, when I posted that, I was like, hey, I'm not posting my deer anymore. Like, I'm going to shoot them for me. And if I want to shoot them, I'm going to shoot them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still interested in managing for big deer and stuff like that. But guess what? My dad hunted my home property 30 times last year. A lot of guys would not allow their dad to do that. But guess what? Made him happy. And he sat out there 28 times with deer in bow range, didn't shoot wouldn't pull the damn trigger until like February, like December. And he finally did. But guess what? He enjoyed my property. Done. Success.
Yep.
A lot of guys can't say they're doing that. Like now I have no trail camera farms. I'm going to probably do longbow farms this year. Like, I just want to make it fun. So I'm not trying to do it the way everybody else is. So every once in a while I get some haters like, oh, you don't kill as big a deer. Yeah, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to make hunting fun, because that's the only way I stick with this. And that's the only way I can really, really be as good as at my job as I want to be, is if I love this, And so just posting a picture on Instagram to impress clients, like, that's just not going to be me anymore. You're not going to see my deer, most likely. You'll see my nephew's deer. You'll see my dad's deer. But I'm gonna do what I got to do to keep this fun, because I didn't for a long time.
Dude, and what guts? I mean, there's other words we can use, but what guts does it take to say from your position, I'm becoming a prominent name, I'm becoming a consultant, I'm becoming a foothold in the space. I could stand to lose a lot from this, because I might call out the guy that has money but has no actual pedigree or actual chemistry with his own family. There's a better word for it, but no respect. Mm-hmm. You have a guy that might have money to pay you for a console, but he's not respected by anyone in his camp, and you're going to call him out. I mean, you're going to call out. I think the lion in the room is like, I have felt that, Brett, so deeply, where I will never forget. I had to go. I met a friend of mine that I became friends with, because I said, dude, you're clearly doing this different than me. Like, you're hunting, like, your posts look like you enjoy it. I'm in anguish all the time. I'm always mad. I'm answering phone calls in a tree stand. I'm texting about problems at work. I don't even know why I'm in a tree. If I even saw a deer, I wouldn't shoot it because it wasn't big enough. And this farm sucks. And I'm in just a really bad space. And you just see beauty in everything. So I inserted myself into his life, forced him to let me come hang with him. But I said to him, Brett, this is probably why your post resonated so much with me. As I said, I don't like hunting right now. And it scares me because it's all I have. It's all I've ever had. Cause I'm like you, I quit sports. I quit all this other stuff. I did things at a high level. I used to tour in a band. I quit the band. I had members of the band that were like, dude, you'd rather be hunting than in this band right now. Like, felt true. Did quit the band later. Like, all I did was hunting. It's all I wanted to be great at. It's all I had as my identity. It was my thing. And I got to a place where I'm like, I hate hunting right now. I hate it. I'm dry. I'm drained. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm ready to cry because it scared me so much that I got to a place with the one thing that God gave me as my thing. And I started to hate it. And it terrified me. I think that's why I felt your post so much, because I just feel like you and I can't be the only two dudes that felt that you spoke to it, the identity that we thought it was going to be or whatever it was. You get out there and like you said, who's even enjoying this hunt with me? Who am I even spending community with? Who am I instilling anything into? Who am I laughing with? Who am I giving a hard time at camp because they missed a deer, even though I missed one, just didn't tell? It's nothing, because we all grew up with it being community, right? Your dad drug you, my grandpa, they all drug us. It didn't matter what the deer scored. You just shot stuff and it was camp, and we've just lost it. And it's been a journey to get back to, I don't even think I'm there, but Brett, it was very therapeutic to feel that with you.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, like I said, I'm just speaking from the heart. And here's the thing: like I started in a camp like when I was 3 years old. Like that's deer camp, and I've been going to that same deer camp for 30 years now. And so like that's the thing that kept it alive for me. So I don't know, just getting back to it. Like that's just what made it the most fun. And so we got to be careful, because we're in a lane where we are we're the minority. Like diehard hunters, like 160-inch deer or nothing. Like we're in the minority, and we want all these regulation changes for us and better quality. And yes, they'll benefit everybody. But I even see, and I'm in favor of it, but like I see a state like Michigan with rich tradition in hunting, and I see that it's going down to a possible $1 state. And I think, and I don't know the details of how it's going to work, but I'm like, if it's a $1 state, like how many less guys are going to kill their bow buck and then not go to deer camp? And then was there less hunters? And then what's the future of hunting?
Right?
Yeah, there's just so many things that I think, could negatively impact the tradition of hunting. And that's ultimately why we all got into hunting. The majority of us, it was some form of tradition in camp. And so if we don't, we got to make hunting camps great again. Go hunt by yourself, sure, to have those hunts. But like, if you don't get people involved and you don't share camp, hunting dies, and it probably dies anyway. I hate to say it at the rate we're going, but unless you buy a lot of land, which is why you buy land and why I buy land, I'm gonna hunt. But like, I want everybody to be able to hunt, and so I think hunting camp is what keeps that alive longer, at least. So that's what's important to me right now.
Dude, I'm sure you'll
One
agree.
other thing too, I will mention actually, like I had a thought back in my head what I want to talk about when you were talking, but there was a point where I hated this so much where I actually contemplated selling the company. I had people approach me, believe it or not. And it's crazy to say, I don't want to get into too many details as to how successful the company's been, but like if I told somebody, they would think I'm an absolute psychopath for even entertaining it, but I wasn't happy.
Doubt it.
And so now that's why I'm on this journey. I got to make this fun again so I can be the best that I can at my job. Otherwise I got to remove myself from this industry so I can fall back in love with one of my first loves. And it's that serious to me, because, it's my one thing.
To get back to hunting? Is that obviously to fall back in love with what hunting first was?
Yes, without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt. And so, like I said, that was my first love. That's what I am. Like, that's who I am. And so, like, even selling the company, like, if I were to ever do it, like, there's part of me, it's like, well, that's my identity. And like, I'm known as somebody now. And it's just like, ooh, if I didn't have this, what would I do? And I don't know, maybe there's good sides and bad sides to it, but like, there'd be less pressure. And that pressure is always going to exist. But I think I just got to do a better job of just going out there, being true to myself, being true to my roots, and hunting the way that I want. But still being able to help people at the same time. And so, yeah, it got to that point where like I was approached by somebody and I was like, maybe I will do this. And so I don't know. It got to that point where I hated it so much that I contemplated that. But we're back.
Well, dude, and I've been full-time in land since 23, and I've already felt like I've circled that mountain a little bit, where there's a place I got to where I thought, gosh, this is such a deep, ugly, toxic state in the hunting community. I don't even know why I want to serve this community. I don't even know why I don't know why I want to be, anything we post, and you get it too. And I've learned to just get more broad shoulders, but like I can post God is good and here's some dirt, and someone's like, yep, you ripped another person off to buy that. Like you got the warrior that just, I'm like, dude, I can't win. Like I just can't. I can't win. I don't know how to win. All I wanted to do was bring properties to the market that are better, help show you how to make them into their phase 2, and help you create legacy with your family from our hard work. And apparently I'm the problem,
And you know what? And let's be honest here, you make money doing it, but you're doing a lot of like the right things. Like you're building a property for somebody that never would have. I mean, like
100%. I do all the stuff they're too intimidated to do. And they'll say that. Like, 100%. I don't want to hire an excavation crew. I don't know what to tell them.
Here's another thing that drives me wild, and kind of getting into the other sides of my business. Like, timber is a big thing for me when it comes to buying property, like timber value and stuff like that. And you get these guys on the internet and they're like, you're just high grading farms. I'm like, what does high grading mean? Okay, because think about it. If I go to a property and it has the most valuable white oak I've ever seen, and that's why I bought it, but I can see through that place for 500 yards because it's a park-like atmosphere. A lot of people want to complain about, oh, you cut the white oaks. Do you know how many thousands of pounds of forage I added to the forest floor on a yearly basis and that the acorns don't produce? Like you guys, if I leave these trees,
you said it earlier, the disease. You said in another one, these trees would have been ruined from disease.
So I'm sorry I picked a good farm that had a monetary value that I could also increase and improve the habitat on. Like those things can coincide. Like I can do the quote unquote right thing for habitat, make money. Like I'm going to do that. And here's the thing, like I go to so many farms, people don't cut timber enough. Like we don't have the habitat we used to have. Developments are taking place and stuff like that. Like we're just losing habitat. So like, people aren't doing what I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm out here doing God's work, but like I'm doing it because I've seen 800 farms at this point, and I'm like, I know what needs to be done. I'm going to be very drastic to the point where I'm going to pucker up when I go to this farm and be like, oh man, did I go balls to the wall here? Mm-hmm. And like sometimes I quote unquote high grade a farm where I cut a lot of those white oaks off. I don't eradicate them. There's still 12s and 10s and other ones that are going to flourish, and I'll manage it so that those can still become harvestable one year. But I low graded a farm too, where I cut a bunch of crappy popple out of it because that's what that needed too. And so like to think that I'm buying every farm. Yeah. So like to think that I'm buying every farm or whatever, and you're never going to make everybody happy. But like, yeah, it's been super lucrative. A lot of times I'm just trying to build a better property and I'll keep it for multiple years. And sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do, and pass it on to somebody that would have never did what I did. And now guess what? Those guys are sending me pictures of the biggest bucks they ever killed. What are you going to say to me? What are you going to say?
I'm dealing with this right now. I hope the guy listens to it. I've become friends with a guy that I sold a farm to. He bought it at my as-is price. What I typically do, Brett, is when we offer a farm, plug to my VIPs here if they're listening, but we have a VIP buyers list. They see all my properties first. We will tell them you can buy it at this price as is, or you can buy it at this price turnkey. And when I say turnkey, phase 1, us doing a bunch of the heavy lifting, you can buy it there at this price. Well, this guy, he was like, I'll buy it at the as-is price, but I'll just pay for all the excavation work. Can you just oversee all the work? And I was like, dude, I don't mark all this other stuff up. Currently, I don't mark it up. I make my money when I sell you the dirt. So if you want to pay the excavation crew, he wanted to use his own blind company. Hey, modify this over here. I want to add a shed to the property. Cool. So I'm managing it all. Well, here's what we're getting into, Brett. You'll love this. I said this farm is 77 acres of woods. It's all woods, and there's a big ridge top, like central in the farm. And I said, we've got to take the whole top of this ridge off. We're going to take it off and create about an almost 4-acre destination food plot. Like you got to have some destination here. Well, we start doing this plot and we're halfway into it. I mean, it looks awesome. Everything's out. There's all, and we're leaving walnuts and things on the edge that he could take. Yeah. Well, he starts telling the excavation crew, oh my gosh, I love elm trees. We got to keep these. And gosh, that poplar, I don't know. It's so pretty. My favorite one. There's a sycamore right here. Oh gosh, I love sycamores. We got to keep that. And I was like, his name's Crawford. I was like, Crawford, you got to stop, bud. You got to trust me here. We can't grow no food we cannot do this. These things can't coexist. We've got to create a plot that you will not hate yourself with the disc trying to get around all these trees you want to keep because they're pretty. You can have your trees elsewhere. I'm going to teach you a destination plot that has tonnage and is manageable, and it's great. And dude, even after we went through this, we go back and he's still leaving trees. I saw it yesterday. He's marked trees he wants left. And it's like, my part of the plot, his part of the plot. It looks like a half open forest because that's what he wanted to keep. And you just have I'm sure you have a hard time sometimes. The client, what it is for Crawford, and I'm taking up for him because we're boys now. I don't think he has the stomach. He doesn't have the vision or the stomach to see what we're saying yet. But in, like you just said, next year when he calls me and like, Crawford, you know that water hole we put right there in the plot that you killed your deer at? Now talk to me, because all this happened because you have to trust the process. And they just don't have the stomach to do it. So therefore, my brain has said, part of me wonders if I shouldn't have just done all this and then brought him later and been like, see what I mean? Like, just don't show up until I'm done.
Maybe 10% of guys have the stomach for it. Like when I go to a property, we make drastic changes. Like I'm not going to tell you to, create a little quarter acre here. Like if you're lacking the big pieces of the puzzle, we're hammering this. And I repeat myself so much on visits about the different aspects of the plan that are going to be important. And I drill it into their head. And I say to them, I know we're a couple months out from you actually completing this project. Do not let the excitement fade. I'm telling you to do this because I am 100% certain you need to blow this farm up. You need to blow out 8, 10, 12 acres of food or something. Like you have to smash that timber. I say that all the time. Like, don't half-ass this. You're going to get one opportunity at this. If you were to log this and you get soft-hearted with these trees and, I don't want to take that one out. I don't want to take this one out. A lot of your value is gone anyway, and nobody's coming back to fix it when you realize, I didn't do it right the first time. Do it right the first time.
You're so right.
And you know what?
Right.
I will be honest with you. Like I've seen all these farms. I still need a good buddy or a friend to come and look at my farm and say, yeah, you're doing the right thing. Because you do get emotionally attached to them, where I can walk on somebody's farm like, dude, smash it. This is what's got to be done. And so like I got to confirm with my buddies from time to time. Like, yeah, exactly.
I know what it feels like. I did
farm, but yeah.
I did it on my own, and it was ugly for a while. And there was times where you're like, I don't know, man. We might have.
If you don't feel like that, you didn't do it. You probably, in most scenarios, if you don't have that feeling, you didn't do enough, most likely.
Well, and now 3 years, fast forward 3 years, I look at that farm now, 3 years, and it's awesome. And it's thick, and it's full of cover, and we have the food close to that cover, and it's like, okay, this is what we said. We just had to see this to fruition. It was funny. I had a forestry consultant come up to that same farm because in Ohio, you can get like a tax break on your real estate, your property taxes if you keep the farm enrolled.
Starts with a C. What's that name of that program?
Current or commercial, or either current or commercial agricultural use value.
Yep.
Well, when you have an only big timber farm, you have to get into these things like grapevine eradication and, these timber management plans, if you will. So I had the consultant come because I had to re-enroll it at the same time that we're dozing these plots. It was just ironic. It wasn't on purpose. And he literally looks at those trees that we left in the plot and he was like, hey, why is there elms? And what does he want a sycamore for? And then he said, and all these are going to blow over because there's no windbreak up here now. These trees are all going to blow over because they don't have any help. And I was like, I literally videoed it. I sent a video. I was like, Crawford, listen to what he says. And he still left the ribbon on these trees. Like, I can't get rid of them. They're precious. Yeah. So, and again, you have to go back to almost like, all right, well, what is your goals? Because Crawford, he's told me openly, he wants to give this farm to his grandkids. Well, if it's to take them out and shoot their first deer, like, do it, great, awesome, great, shoot the first deer. But if you want to blitz it and actually shoot big bucks, and you're hiring Brett to like teach you how to shoot big bucks, he's probably going to tell you to blitz the farm. Period.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to tell you, and you should listen, or you're not going to get the result that you said you wanted. It's tough.
Yeah, if you're comfortable enough to make those decisions on your own, like go ahead and move forward with blowing it up, quote unquote, whether it's a food plot, whether it's bedding areas. But otherwise, and I don't want to sit here and plug myself, but like if you find somebody else that's reputable on the internet, or you believe in their mission or what they're kind of talking about, bring those guys in, get that second opinion, because it might cost you a couple $1,000, but it might save you tens of thousands too. And like I said, I don't want to necessarily sit here and plug myself. Like, I don't know that I can take more business. I'm just being honest. Like, that's the way I would do it if I was in somebody's position. Like, just make sure. And I'll be honest with you, like, I'm not like, I don't go to every farm and like just change the complete dynamic of what they thought. Sometimes these guys are really well versed, but they just need a confirmation. And now they feel confident moving forward. And I said, that's the main thing. Like, I don't need to come here. Like, a lot of these guys are elite already. They're killing 160s to 200s, but like they would need confidence moving forward with these last couple projects so that this farm can be like top tier. And like, it's okay whether you're like the big buck killer or not, like just to get that confirmation sometimes so that you're moving in the right direction, so that financially you're not screwing up. And even more importantly, wasting time.
Dude, you said it so well. And the thing that I think people don't realize, and I had to learn this the hard way, is that if you go in and do a lot of improvements on a farm that you do in the wrong way, or you do the wrong improvements, it is a 10-year at best, sometimes never, look back to try and fix what you did if you did it wrong. So you want to talk
you're not
about
getting it back in your life. Yeah.
That's what I mean. You're not. Your kids are going to deal with what you did wrong. And I just always say, because I'm a huge proponent of consultants and huge proponent of doing the consults, huge proponent on my own property. If you want to buy a property from me, call me and let's walk it for a day, right? Let me give you the playbook of what I think you need to do, because I can't do everything to this property in 3 months. I can't do everything that, people think, oh, it's turnkey for 40 years. No. This is a working model here, but I would tell you what I think you need to do so that you don't go, I've spent thousands and just even think fertilizer alone, Brett, putting in the wrong food plots in the wrong areas, what we spend on fertilizer and seed just to do something wrong. It's insane. And the input costs and the time and the spraying and the whatever it's insane. Here's a good one we'll jump to, because we're going to land next. I'm not letting Brett talk. If you did 100 consults, folks, we're cutting the consult crap. I mean, come on, let's go to dirt. But speaking of what I did wrong, Brett, I have a beautiful 6-acre field on a farm that I just recently sold. These guys are going to listen to this podcast. They already know I'm going to help them fix it or do whatever they want to do with it. But I have a beautiful, beautiful monoculture, absolutely too thick.
Don't you do it.
Switchgrass field that I was led to believe I needed to put in. And I'm not blaming anyone. Okay. Hear me. I'm not blaming anyone. There's a miscanthus cross in this field. It's really cool. And then it's switchgrass. It's so thick, like you can't see through it. And I thought that was what we were supposed to be, like holy grail. We did it. And then I have a thermal drone go over the farm like multiple times. Like, wait, hold up. What's going on? There's not one deer in here. There's no deer in here in this thing. So let's all just quantify, like Brett's saying, use my own real life example. What could I have done differently? Because switchgrass isn't cheap. The upkeep isn't cheap. The input isn't cheap. The spray, dude, quinclorac is not cheap. So the burning, the extra days of burning, like all the things, it's not cheap. And that's just 6 acres. That's just 6 acres that I did. Talk about switchgrass as trash, my man, because you said it, not me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Here's the thing. A lot of the guys that are talking you into buying switchgrass are the guys that are selling it to you. And this isn't just because like I dislike a consultant or I dislike somebody that sells switchgrass. Maybe in my earlier years, I could make that argument that I was being that way. Now I go to farms and guys are like, hey, why don't the deer use my 12 acres of switchgrass? And I'm like, think about it this way. Unless there's like some sort of topographical feature in the middle of that gives them a point of elevation, a big buck's going to go and lay in a 12-acre sea of monotony with no backdrop, no back cover, and he lays down and he can't see 3 feet. What keeps a predator from circling downwind of him? And now you're in maybe you're just in coyote country and bobcat country, but nonetheless still a predator. And now if you're in maybe wolf country and guys try to plant it up north, it very rarely does it work well because snow. You have to have structure in these fields, guys. I don't think switchgrass is bad. Switchgrass is bad by itself. And so now you need pollinator blends, you need forbs, you need things like this. Like deer very rarely eat grass. I want my cover to be food and cover. So like, I'll just give you the playbook right here. Like you need to create nests in that field and maybe diversify the grasses as well and maybe try and get some forbs or pollinator blends in there, but create nests in there of like, if it's a little bit lower lying, you do your red oaks or dogwoods and maybe a hybrid willow. A hybrid willow can grow 6 feet, even 10 feet a year. Otherwise you can use like a hybrid popple. That's going to get you some structure fast. Like that's going to grow 6 to 10 feet in a year. I don't mind like in these little nests, like maybe putting like a chestnut or maybe like a sawtooth oak, something that produces a little bit quicker. And the reason I like these oak and chestnut varieties, they hold their leaves all the way through the season, like all the way until the following spring. And if you have a lot of them, like it just creates this more sense of security. At the end of the day, switchgrass by itself is trash. I don't care if you're in New York or really where you are. The only places it might work is your Kansases, your really desolate areas. Maybe in Illinois, I could make an argument in certain areas there. But structure, man, if you add structure to it, it's going to be way better. I was on a farm yesterday and was I? North Central Missouri. And this guy was talking about his CRP. And I said, okay, a plowed field is a 0 out of 10. CRP is a 3 out of 10. You add structure to this, it can jump to a 10 out of 10. These bucks don't want to use this big monotonous sea of nothingness, not bed in it at least. So we had 90 acres of it. I said, you can create 90 acres more habitat by adding structure to this. So switchgrass is fine, but just not by itself, guys.
Geez, we're unpacking a few things here.
Dude, I can go on rants. You better do one of these. I'll keep going.
I'm ready.
Stuff.
No, dude, I'm gonna ask one question and then I have to pee, but we'll come back. If I had sponsors, everybody, we'd run a commercial, but I don't have sponsors. So anyways, Brett and I'll just make up a commercial while we go offline. Here's the question, and then I'll give you one and then we'll pee and I'll give you the second. First one, why would you put food in your cover? Because I know a lot of guys, a lot of consultants are, big on, I don't put food. I want them to get up and walk. I don't put food in cover because then I never kill them. Why would you put a tree like a sawtooth oak or whatever? I'm just playing devil's advocate. Why would you put food in cover?
It's such a minimal amount of the overall vast area. Like it's like 5%. Yeah, it's just like another reason to put him in that spot. So now strategically, when I know he's in there, I know where he is. I know how to hunt him. It's not like I'm having so much food in there that he's going to hold up in daylight hours. Like he's just going to have more of a reason to go to that spot. And if I know he's in that spot, I know how to hunt him. I don't believe in kill plots for the most part. I don't know if I've ever planted a kill plot on my property because there's a time and a place. Don't get me wrong. And I know that's another hot take, but like you're encouraging him to get hung up in daylight hours. I want the food to be where the food's going to be for the most part. And if I'm going to create structure in a field, I might as well create something that the deer like so that they actually use the structure more often. So putting a little bit of food out there, but it's like not enough to hold them there for 2 hours.
I got another question. Take a pause. We're going to pee. During this commercial break, this has been brought to you by Switchgrass is Trash. We'll be right back. All right. And before all you keyboard warriors want to bury us on Switchgrass is Trash, yes, Brett said it, and I tend to agree. But let me just close a loop here for everyone's fun. Let me just spoil the party. Switchgrass is trash when used as a monoculture deal. Right? You don't poo-poo on switchgrass for a great screen. You don't poo-poo on it when it's got other things in it. Because I'm going to plant switchgrass. I like it as a screen. I like Miscanthus better as a screen if it's going to be
there's better ones.
My pick. But I don't hate switchgrass. It's very pretty. I like that it burns well. I mean, there's things that I like, but it's not that you just would never say plant switchgrass. Can you just kind of quantify what would you say to someone who's like, oh my gosh, he's anti-switch? Clear, go the other way with it. You did with putting trees in it and all these things. Maybe I'll just ask the next question. You say dogwoods. I hear people talk about dogwoods a lot, and maybe we go down like this whole tree rabbit hole, but why dogwoods and what is a benefit of a dogwood? Why would you pick that?
Yeah, well, I will say that they're a little overrated for how much people talk about them. They're like deer candy and all these other things. There's a lot of things that deer eat. So I mean, the reason I really like it is because it does when it does get mature, like it's topping out at 6 to 12 feet. Like a lot of times you plant some of these tree varieties, they're going to grow up so they don't have actual structure at the deer's level. And so something more bushy is definitely beneficial. And then it's just, the protein content, the good winter browse that it provides, especially in these northern climates. Your food plots are going
this, Brett. I didn't know that. I didn't know I have dogwoods in my yard. You're talking like the dogwoods we have in our yard are a benefit to wildlife. To whitetails.
Oh, massively. Like they're one of the most talked about. Yeah. Like they're one of the most talked about, I would say, species planted for whitetails, and as they should be. But diversity is always key. You got to remember that. I've planted 18 acres of actual dogwood from seed, and that is something I've never heard anybody talk about it. I've done it.
Is this like a seed? You're talking like a seedling, like it's 6 inches, or what would that be?
No. Seed. I bought it from seed. I went to my dealer. I have some I guess I'll just call them relationships with certain seed dealers, and then they'll sell like whatever they'll sell like the cuttings or maybe like the actual like the plant itself. And I said, where can I get this from seed and try and plant this? And so like it costed me $900. I'll just be straightforward, but I got 18 acres of a pure stand.
Dude, that's nothing.
Exactly. So it's a forever food plot. Try to plant
that with switch, 18 acres, bro. 900, I don't even get the deposit.
Well, but you would have laughed at the size of the bag. Like it's a little like couple pounds.
That's what I was going to ask you. I'm super interested now. And if anyone else is like, he's so dumb, whatever, throw me under the bus. I didn't know dogwoods were the play. So I'm now like really interested. What's the seed look like? What size?
I mean, it's like a clover seed, man. It's small.
Really? A dogwood tree. The seed is
for
tiny.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, the red osier dogwood. And like I said, you need diversity. You need moist soil for this. Don't be putting it on your ridge tops. It's not going to work well there. It's like in your ditch lines, in your more moist soil, it's going to do a little bit better. I think it could still grow other places, but that's what it prefers. But like that's one of the best ways to add structure.
And you said willows too.
Hybrid willows, not just willows. Hybrid willows.
I'm going to keep playing dumb here. When I think of what I think of as young willows, tell me I'm right or wrong. What are the trees you typically see on small creeks, small ditches, and you see the buck rub line? I mean, it's just 15 of them down this ditch. Is that a willow?
Yeah, it's a willow, but this hybrid willow is like almost like a genetically modified tree that was made to like grow faster. And there's hybrid popples as well, or poplar, depending on where you're at. And those trees like can get to a harvestable level in like 7 to 10 years. So if you're like doing like an old field transformation, which is my favorite, it's like the best thing you can do. If you can take an old farm field and turn it into habitat, and you want structure now, you use hybrid willows, you use hybrid poplars. Your red osiers take a little bit longer. Maybe like if you put a chestnut in there, some scrub oak, something like that, they take a little bit longer. I want structure now, and those willows and poplars will help you do it. Years. It's going to take you, it depends. Do you plant it from seed? Do you plant a 3-foot whip? Like even so, like it's going to take a good 5 years to get a nice little bush. I mean, they will expand pretty fast because they get really good sunlight.
And I'm assuming you have to tube it. I mean, they'll rub it, all those things. There's going to be a lot of kind of, work to it. I mean, keep, maintenance of it year in, year out until it gets stable enough.
So going back to your 6-acre field, what I would do is I would take snow fence at about like a 6-foot, maybe a 6-foot snow fence, and I would create a 30-yard circle and just compartmentalize all this stuff so I don't have to tube anything. Because if you plant red osier dogwood, guys, and you ain't tubing it, you ain't gonna have no red osier dogwood. So like only buy as many trees or shrubs as you're willing to tube. That's just what it comes down to. I know they're expensive. It ain't worth your time. So snow fence them off, and you can keep that snow fence closed for 2 to 3 years, and then open it back up. And then you got structure in your fields. And then you do the switchgrass and the pollinator blends, the little blue stem, big blue stem, Indian grass outside of that. And I don't like using grasses a lot because deer don't really use grass or eat grass, I guess. They're more forb based, but pollinator blends and stuff like that I'll mix in. But yeah, as far as those go, I'll snow fence them off to keep them protected for 2 years. And some of those species, like I told you, a hybrid willow and a hybrid popple will grow like 6 to 10 feet in a year, as long as you keep the deer off.
That's amazing. So let me ask from practicality standpoint too. We talk about like burning switch here, and we're going to get the dirt. I'm about to switch off here, pun intended, but I love this. This is why, okay, guys, if you're like not in this think tank with us, then don't hire a consultant. This think tank we're in right now is why you hire a consultant. This is what they do. Like this is, you're telling me to plant willows or, like I wouldn't have known these things. Okay. So everybody just stick with me. What now, if we're going to put switch, Brett, everybody says, burn it, do this, do that. Are you now having to just mow switch if you've got, and you didn't say conifers, by the way, so I was going to touch on that. But if you've got stuff in these fields, you can't burn them now until that stuff gets to a certain height, or are you still going to worry about you're going to kill it if you burn the switch, or how do you maintain switch at that point?
Yeah. I mean, you got to create fire breaks around them, or you just go back to mowing. That's just the reality of it. Like you're always kind of giving up something when you do a lot of the stuff. You don't want to harm those young plants or trees or shrubs that you put a lot of money and time and effort into. Like at the end of the day, those are the structure of the field. So I'd rather not burn and just keep those safe than like try and burn. But otherwise you're creating like a fire break around them, and then you can still try and do some burning. But grasses burn hot, so you gotta be careful, man.
So when we say fire break, like I'm picturing, even if this is a big enough field, maybe we plant some of this stuff in rows, and you go through like 6-foot tiller on each side, till a strip through the plants, and burn up to them that way and call it, or what?
Well, when I do these nests, it's like a 30-yard circle. So now think about snow fence, and then I'll take that tiller and I'll be real careful with it. I'll take that tiller and go 2-3 times around that just to make sure. And so you can protect them that way and burn the rest of the field.
Okay, man. Yeah, guys, I wouldn't hire a consultant. I think all of us just have it all figured out. Like just, Brett's an idiot. He hasn't done any of this stuff. There's no real world advice being talked about here. I think consultants are way too expensive. They don't know what they're talking about, and they're just full of it. That's it. That's what I think. They don't have any knowledge to give.
Hey, man, a lot of people are expensive, and a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. There's a lot of hopefully up and coming guys, but a lot of guys that are like faking it till they make it, which used to be my slogan early on, I guess, too. But like, you gotta be careful out there. You got to weed out the bad apples, and you don't know if you don't like until you hire somebody sometimes. But yeah, stuff isn't cheap, and I get it. Like it's a big investment. But guys, if I'm coming to your property or another good consultant is coming to their property, you're going to save time and hopefully money, if not have an income strategy, and it's going to pay for itself. Like literally, it sounds too good to be true, but like a lot of my clients, like my goal is like, if you're going to spend, I'll be honest, $3,000 to $5,000 and maybe even more if I got to travel far enough. Like I know whether you're
that's
the Bitcoin
what I was going to ask
billionaire.
you, Brett. If you're willing to give me, lay out your pricing structure for someone who's interested. How do you price a consultant? Do you have tiers or, I have guys that'll say, well, hey, if you just want a hunt plan and you want me to tell you where to put your cameras and your stands for what your property is today, I'll do that for X price. Are you, do you have tiers or kind of what do you, I'm take it or leave it and it's the full 10 out of 10 or what's your game?
It's kind of a take it or leave it thing. Cause if I offer, just from a business standpoint, if I offer a bunch of online versions, people are going to take that and then I'm making less money. Doesn't make sense to. And I can do a really good job.
If you're just doing a hunt plan, you're just going there. Like you're already going there. So why would you, if you're going to go there, why would you do less?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I'm really good at doing it via maps. I'm good enough, and we'll get into the land. I buy a lot of my properties without ever seeing them, okay, based off of maps, because you got to be quick to the punch. Ballsy, spend a lot of money. We'll get into the details with that stuff. But like I can do it on the maps, but no, it's kind of a one and done, or like not a one and done thing. It's like, hey, I'm coming to your property, and it's either gonna like base price this year, if you were close to me, was around $3,000. That's what it was gonna cost. And if I had to fly to you, and like go across the country, I got to plan for almost 2, if not 3 days, just for it to make sense. So you do the math. It can get very expensive, but I guess what I would say is there's never a guarantee, but realize that when you hire somebody, I know I just sticker shocked a lot of you. I'm coming to your property.
Oh, dude, you guys, if you can't spend $3,000, like you're joking yourself. If you don't want a coach to come in and you spend what, 100 to $1 million on a farm and you can't spend $3,000 to have someone go in there and tell you how to set it up, you're missing it.
I know I'm undercutting myself.
Mortgage payment for guys. One.
I know I'm undercutting myself and I could be charging more, but sometimes like there's a part of me that the 20 acre, 40 acre Joe, like I want to be realistic for them too. And it's not the smartest thing for me to do from a business standpoint and when I could be making more money, but I still do it. Prices are going up with everything and as will mine. But yeah, when I go to a property, man, and somebody is spending that much, like I'm going to do my best to give you a good income strategy plan. And a lot of times like, handling a timber situation correctly, like is tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the farm. And if it's not that it's something else. And so like my fees are generally covered, like honestly 9 times out of 10 through a plan that I'm going to give you. Assuming you didn't pick the world's worst, like most terrible property that has nothing I can do. And that's so rare. I've seen so much where there's a will, there's a way, like I can figure it out now. At least give you the option.
I love this. And Brett, it's super, super fair. I know of some of the top end prices and some of the guys that keep raising their price to slow it down. And let's just say it. Most of them have earned the pedigree to be able to do so. Yeah. So it's fine. Do it.
Yeah.
I get it. I would do the same thing, by the way. Like there's a business guy I listen to all the time, Alex Hormozy, and he talks about his podcast is called The Game. You'd like Alex. He's a fast talker like us and fast thinker, but he always talks about like the idea that people think they're worth X. And like when you price something at X and then someone's like, oh, okay, sounds good. And your brain's like, what? I've been at X this whole time. And I just doubled it or whatever it is, and he's like, and people are like, no, I thought it was going to be more or whatever. And it's not, it's what the perception of people's value concept is that we miss usually of like, what's this worth? I cannot say enough. Like if you're going to, hire Brett or another consultant and they're in that price range, like I can't say that if you bought $100,000 farm, let's just do some easy, mind mapping here, $100,000 farm, which by the way, go you if you did that, but maybe a small piece, and you won't spend 3% of your purchase price to get a map to figure the thing out. Okay, go do you, man. Like, do you? Yeah. That's silly. That is really silly.
Go ahead. There's going to be cheaper guys. The up and coming guys are going to be cheaper, and I hope some of them do a good job just for the sake of like not wasting people's time and money. But like the competitive side of me is kind of like, yeah, you're going to spend more money, but I guarantee you you're going to get a better plan out of me because I've seen enough at this point. You're just going to get somebody that's a little bit more versed on a lot of this stuff, and there's nothing that really surprises me anywhere that I go anymore. So like you're paying for there will be cheaper guys, and I just look at it as you're going to pay for quality, and whether it's me or somebody else, like I'll even justify maybe hiring like some of the other big name guys out there. Go ahead, and some of them I've been to the properties after, and we've all got these stories about each other, and it's like, what were you thinking, dude? But like in majority, like pick somebody that's seen a lot of farms. Just do it. Spend the money up front, whether it's me or somebody else. I'll plug the other guys too. Like, hire them. Because you just spend $1 million on a farm, 500 grand on a farm, 200 grand on a farm. You're crazy not to move forward for a couple $1,000s with having the right plan and saving yourself the time and probably the money.
I cannot echo it enough. I just got off the phone with a guy that bought a few farms from me. And I've set my farms up. So if there was any guy that could take offense to this, he just bought my home farm in my big farm that was 500 acres that I spent years and years putting this plan together. I had Wes Delks come twice out and help me put a plan together. I did all this work. The minute he closes, he has another guy there to look at the work. Well, I could have been offended by that. I was impressed by it because it's like you value so much. He didn't even want to go and weed eat. He didn't want to go weed eat the sidewalk at the house without knowing this is a roadmap that I have to continue to move forward with. And proof's in the pudding for sure. I mean, this guy's doing okay.
You just got to trust your gut. You just got to trust your gut and hire a guy that you think was going to do the best job for you, whether it's me or somebody else.
Maybe we can jump into this one together, Brett. So I want to talk timber, but I think you might be able to mux that in with land buying and timber because I really, really like the thing that I wrote down that I wanted to talk more with you about. And we can just be in timber. We can just talk a ton of timber when we're talking land buying. If this helps you, let's do it. But this idea of this every 8 year type harvest and this regenerative, type, you talked about on Hunter about, guys that can set their farms up potentially where they can have a cut like every 8 to 10 years, where they can be able to go in there if they do this right and continue to bring income in. So maybe you tell me, do we stay timber right now, or can we dive into the other side brain of Brett that buys dirt?
Go into the buying dirt. I'm going to get into it anyway. Go ahead.
All right. So everybody, guess what? He's not just an idiot land consultant, Facebook algorithm buster who comes up with hot takes like switchgrass is trash. He also happens to put his money where his mouth is. So you are buying some dirt. You have happened to bought some dirt and sold some dirt, I hear, through the grapevine. Tell us, maybe we take a deal, maybe we walk through a deal, or maybe, Brett, what was your first one? If you can remember, how'd you get into the dirt game?
Yeah. So, getting into it originally, like, it was just like, I was like everybody else, like, oh, I want to do it. I want to do it. I don't know how. I don't have the balls to basically pull the trigger. And that's the one thing everybody lacks. So finally, like, I felt, after doing a lot of properties, like, I've seen a lot, like, I feel confident in buying dirt in certain areas, certain neighborhoods. And if the right deal pops up, why not? Maybe I've hunted places for years and years prior to ever buying this farm. And so finally I'm like, I used to work for somebody else. I have a 401k, and like some dude that I don't even know manages that money for me. And yeah, I'll take a hit on it, but I'm like, I got all that money sitting there. It's not going to affect my personal bank account. I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to take the hit on it, and I'm going to use it as a down payment on a farm. And then I'm also going to use a line of credit against the house to maybe cover some more of it or the rest of it. So that's what I did to buy my first farm. Now, I would not tell people to leverage their home for a long period of time unless you have a good strategy to get out of it. Timber.
I love this so much because I said this like a month ago. I'm not telling you to mortgage your house. You do you, but I'm just saying if you need to do it short term. It
was a combination of taking my 401k and then taking a line of credit against the house with a plan to pay that line of credit back at the very least as quick as possible. And timber's an easy way to do that. Sometimes government programs are a way to actually do that relatively fast. And so bought the farm and basically allowed the farm to just pay the payments for me while I own that farm, and we enjoyed some good hunting. I mean, that's all it came down to. And honestly, like, I can tell people this stuff all I want, but like, honestly, just have the balls to pull the trigger. Cause I can tell you, I don't want to give away too much, but financially, guys, the little tax hit, and I say little, it was a considerable amount, but like, in the grand scheme of things, guys, it was a drop in the bucket. Just put your big boy pants off, or put your big boy pants on and jump in, because guys, it's worth it. But now, if you don't know how to do it, bring somebody in that does, so you got a good plan moving forward. Don't just like try to figure it out via YouTube videos or even podcasts to a certain extent. But that's how I did it. And like, yeah, I used quote unquote my own money to start, but I paid myself back within like a couple months, and we were off and running. And then the timber paid the payments on the farm.
Can you tell us, if we like land the plane here, let's talk through the semantics of the first deal. Like, and Brett, I've had multiple people come on here and kind of, like I told you before we even started, like even Spook Span, one of the Spook, I think was one of my favorite talk tracks because like I told you, what are you going to ask Spook Span? How to kill a big deer? Like dude's been doing that for 40 years. I wanted to talk to him about how did you get started? How did you get in here? And then to hear him say, well, I went 8 hours across the country. The first farm he ever owned was 8 hours from his house in Illinois, Southern Illinois. And you say, have the balls to go do it. It was like, dude, the dude had the balls to do it. Like he did it. That's what he did.
Mine
he
was
went
9
and
hours.
Put his money where his mouth was. So yeah, can we dive into it? I'm not asking you to like, review the HUD if you don't want, but how'd the first deal go?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically it was, I've seen a lot of farms at the point at that point already. And so like when I just saw the pictures of the timber, I was like, oh.
And was this off market? Like dive into how you found it, kind of that stuff.
It was actually on market for like a very short amount of time. It's one of the few farms I've actually gone and looked at before buying, crazy as that sounds. I had a realtor who was just helping me out. I don't even know how I got hooked up with this realtor. Maybe he saw my social media or something like that. And he said, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. And so I saw the pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, like that. I wasn't as well versed on timber as I am now, but I knew enough to know. I was like, oh gosh, jackpot. And like the right thing to do, I could see through this farm for 500 yards. Like we're going to go make some money cutting timber. And it just kind of happened. I don't even know that I had the plan. I just knew that, okay, I could make a good amount of money on timber. Didn't even know necessarily how much. Go and look at the farm and like the number was around like I think it was $425 I paid for that farm. And like for your first farm ever, and like wife's got school debt, maybe I got some school debt and stuff. It's like, oh, $400,000, but you don't need $400,000 to buy the farm. You got to get your down payment down, which I figured out with the HELOC in the 401k stuff. But went and walked that farm and I was like, okay, it's everything I think it is.
What state?
Missouri, that one was in. And that's the state at the time I spent the most time in, probably with clients and even hunting for years and years before ever buying it. So like finally felt comfortable if that was a state I was going to pull the trigger in, like that was going to be the one.
Okay. And you said this was way away from you. How far away from home?
Yeah, 9 hours. 9 hours. Yeah. And we did well enough on the timber side of things where I put a nice cabin on it, added value that way. And honestly, it was early on. So like you got to flip it. You can't just keep your first property because you'll never make money. But like the guy that has it now, like good for him because he's got one of the best farms I've still seen to this day. I picked the right one. Had good access, had southern access, easterly food, westerly bedding, north side access. A large neighbor to the west that doesn't hunt. Like it was the piece, man. It really was. And so financially it made too much. Yeah, but like you hold it for a couple of years.
I've sold some bangers.
Yeah, dude. I mean, financially it just made sense, but like all the money I made on it, like there's a sense of regret. And maybe I grabbed that farm back someday. But I almost got in tears with the guy because he told me, he's like, hey man, I'm going to keep this farm forever. It's for me and my family. Like I just knew he was going to use it the right way and whatever else. But no, financially it made sense to sell it because I just held on to it for a couple of years. Like if God forbid, guys, you spend too much on land, wait 2 years. You didn't spend too much anymore. It's just going to keep going.
Yep.
So.
Well, and you were able to do a long-term capital gain there, holding it at least a year. So you were able to sell that way. I'm sure you've utilized the 1031 exchange.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a podcast to go here pretty soon because I've had a deal that about fell apart and we don't know where we're at, but I've got a 1031 money sitting right now waiting on me to identify, what's going to happen next. But so Brett, let's back into this again. And you might have already said this, but how many acres was that farm, the first one?
100, a little over 100 acres.
Okay. So not small, and what time frame was this again? What year range? Let's say pre or post COVID that affected
right after COVID.
Okay. So like right after like where the market went insane or right before the market blew?
I mean, it's hard to say because the market blew up. It just keeps blowing up. So I guess it was a lot cheaper when I bought it than what it is now. Like it went up, I'd say 30% since I bought it, if not even more. I talked to a guy yesterday, bought some land in 2018 for $2,000 an acre, and he was selling stuff for like $6,500 now. So. It's all relative to the area, but no, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know exactly when the big explosion happened, but I think I had to be close to it because things went up for sure.
So on the 100 acres, if you can dive into, was it all timber, a mix of timber and tillable, no tillable, I don't know, pasture? What did it feel like?
Had the right bare bones. 10% of it was in open fields that I could put in food, and then the rest of it was just a big timber farm for the most part. So the majority, like whatever 90 plus acres, was all timber. And
that's where the big value came.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and so we ended up logging that property. I don't know how many details I should get into this logging side of things because Yeah, whatever. I don't care. People got to
Well,
learn
we
this
said
stuff.
we were going to talk about the every 8 years type cutting, and Brett has been very, very, and I love this, critical of a lot of logging operations and he's right. I've seen a ton of bad. I've seen a ton of bad here, dude. Here in Ohio, a 16-inch cut here in Ohio, dude, is like a 4-inch cut. Like that's. And if they wanted that, great. But a lot of people, I hear a lot of sellers like, oh yeah, they only cut 18 and up. And I'd come back, meet them at their front door. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's multiple,
way more than that.
There's multiple different ways to manage the timber sale. But like I don't really sell my timber anymore unless I get paid up front. And people don't realize that that's a thing. Selling on shares, I've gotten screwed flat out. Did a handshake deal with a logger, because he was referred to me by one of the most big name outdoor industry folks that hunt in Missouri that there is. And sadly, I realized that they just didn't know how to manage timber. As well known as they were, I found out they didn't know how to manage timber because of what the guy did to me. Like, there's no way they would have used this guy. And I don't even think they know if maybe to this day they got screwed.
I wish I could go in the chat and put a name and say, is that
you
it?
Pick one of the most reputable names that you can think of that hunts Missouri. I'll just say the most reputable name that hunts Missouri, and they had them out to their farm. I'm not going to confirm or deny. I don't want, because maybe they don't know how much money they got screwed out of.
You would say, no, it was not them.
Right. Yeah.
We won't go there.
Anyway, this guy, he tells me, I'll be transparent. He's like, you got like $200,000 worth of timber on this farm. You know that? And I was like, yeah, man, I know it's one of the best timber farms I've ever seen. And I had a little more trust in this.
One. This is your 100. Yeah. Okay.
And I got a fair amount of trust in this guy because he's referred to me by one of the most reputable people of all time. And so like, I'm quick to do a handshake deal, maybe not get stuff in a contract and blah, blah, blah. And he tells me this number, so this is the number I'm planning on. And next thing you know, like, I didn't get paid up front on that deal, which is the only way I do it now. So there's no guarantee. We sold in shares, and we agreed to the shares that we were going to get paid at the end. And once you know it, it was about time to start selling timber. And I went down for the timber sale. I showed up. He didn't know I was coming, but when the mill showed up to buy the timber, I showed up. So I at least got the receipts and I saw what was paid. But he's like, man, you'll never guess what we ran into. This timber had some cattle rot in it, and it had this and it had that. And so I can never say for sure that he screwed me, but I got half the amount I was supposed to. And who's to say, like, yeah, I saw the receipts and everything. Who's to say they didn't go to the bar and cut the rest of the checks? Because he didn't bid it out to every mill. He bid it out to the guy he knows. So at least if you're paid up front, like, and you're comfortable with the number, that's the way to handle it. Mark your trees so you know what trees are getting taken out. Yep. Et cetera. But
you say it as well that, you can't manage everybody's farm. All these consults you do, you can't manage the timber process. Hire a consultant. I'll plug. I haven't had Madison Raber do this for me, but Madison's a guy that's here in Ohio, and he cruises timber for me, and actually cruises it in Illinois as well. But learned a lot through talking with Madison just about how he does that for people, where he will take usually 10% of the cut of the deal,
which is negotiable, by the way. Understand that, guys. It's negotiable.
Well, and what I will say to. Right. And what I'll say on both sides is like, yeah, if you don't have a great cut and it's 3 hours from his house or whatever it is, like, you gotta be reasonable. But he, saying things like, I'm the one that they're going to be calling when there's mud on the county road, or when there's not, straw and seed going back, or, he checking that they're cutting things that weren't marked. 100%. And so I can't say enough. I didn't do it the first time I ever had my stuff cut, and I will never not do that again. There's going to be a consultant or somebody in the middle. I'm not messing, because I don't know it well enough, and I don't trust myself well enough that I would have him mark it and get all the bids and then get paid up front. And Brett, when you say get paid up front, I've heard of getting paid 25%, 50. You're saying 100, like 100%. They're buying it standing.
Yep, 100%.
And they have so long to cut it.
Yep. Yeah. And another little thing, like, if they ask you to extend the contract for 2-3 years, don't sign that, because they're just waiting for the market to go up. Like, if you want to cut and you want to cut now, guys, you make sure that there's a deadline that's in that contract and everything. But no, going back to what you said
they're holding you hostage on whatever you're going to do after that, if they don't cut it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I get foresters involved with every single one of my projects. Do I know timber really well? Yes. But you need to understand, like, there's guys that are going to be in the comments like, why would I hire a whitetail guy when a forester can come out and do that for me for free, a state guy, or I can hire a guy? Because he's not always going to look at it from a whitetail habitat standpoint. He's not looking at predominant winds. He's not looking at the way that ridge faces and how the thermals are going to affect it. He's going to tell you how to strategically cut the farm for the better management of the forest, which is important. But you bought this farm for deer hunting.
It's not the only piece.
And so I get these guys involved on my farms too, guys. But there's a piece before that's got to take place. If you bought a farm for hunting, you need to have somebody come out and write a hunting plan, and they will butt heads. The forester will be like, "Are you sure that you want to do this?" And the client has to be like, "Yes, I bought this for hunting." Like, manage for the forest, sure, but yes. And so there's steps to this. A forester by itself, you might get lucky. Hopefully, he cuts it right, but there might not be as much strategy in it as somebody that's maybe seen 800 or 1,000 properties.
And Brett, do you ever use the timber tax basis strategy?
Always.
Okay. So, and if you give your version of what that is, I mean, you give what it is. I'm not saying it's not the right version. Can you explain to the listener, what is a timber tax basis? Yeah,
the easiest way to explain it, I guess, is to basically, when you buy a farm, you get it's almost like a timber appraisal. Like it gives you the amount of I guess your timber value, and it establishes the basis. And if you cut below that basis, then you get out of paying the capital gains tax on that timber. And so if you go over that basis, you start paying the taxes on that. But it just establishes what your timber's worth, and it's good for a couple of reasons. One, for tax purposes, but also it's kind of like an appraisal. So now if you don't want to hire a forester and you don't want to give him 10%, even though a good forester will make you 10% more. Now if you start bidding it out to loggers, you know the roundabout value of what it's worth. So if some guy comes in and BS's you, which, by the way, that same farm that had a quote unquote 200 grand worth of timber in it, and it did, looking back on it, and I just got screwed. Another guy offered me 30 grand. If you don't know, you don't know. So getting
countless people I talked to just took the first bid, guy knocked on my door and wrote me a check for the timber, and he cut it. I hear it all the time.
It's something they didn't know they had. Like if somebody didn't know, like it was 25 grand. Oh, I didn't even know I had 25 grand out there. Yeah, you got 250 grand.
Yeah, it's an old widow. That's what it's an old widow, or it's an old man that can't go and walk and see. And you're right. They give him 30 grand for 200 grand worth of timber. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't even know. And he thinks they cut 20 trees.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give like the really dumbed down version too. Let's just use farm prices here. Let's say you buy a farm for 250 grand. Mm-hmm. And then you go get an appraisal that 100 grand on that farm. It has 100 grand of timber, which would be awesome. It's happened before. But let's say the farm has 100 grand in timber and you buy it for 250. What Brett is saying, and what I'm echoing is, now, if you go cut 100 grand of timber off that farm, you didn't make any money. In your $250,000 purchase price, 100,000 of it was basis on timber. The rest, the 150, was the land. That's how it separates. Brett saying, as long as you don't cut more than 150, you're not going to pay tax on the 100,000 in timber you cut, because you paid for it when you bought the farm, so you didn't make any money. That's why that becomes tax free. That's kind of your timber tax basis for dummies. You can do that timber tax basis even after you've closed. You can do it later. And I'd have to ask Madison, maybe Brett, but there's a time frame of when that has
There's ways to get around it though. Like even if you own the farm longer, I know guys have done it. I don't know exactly how they do it, but it's something you want to do as soon as you buy a farm, guys. Like whether you're going to cut
after the cut though, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
No, you got to do it before you cut.
Yep. So it's so guys, like if you're listening, I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to plug myself for a couple times here. Brett, I sold a 45 acre farm in Ohio last year. This sucker had white oaks you couldn't get your arms around. You couldn't hug these things and touch your fingers all through it. 45 acres. Madison cruised it. I wanted to say there's like 100 grand in timber on it, and it was. He said you'd have to cut this at 22 because all this stuff in here is so big that if you cut it harder, it's going to literally decimate the entire forest because it's so big, it's going to crash and take everything. Like he literally said, I would recommend cutting this that high. Point being, I never touched the timber. I didn't cut it. I could have paid for that farm with the timber. Could have paid for it. I sold it. Guess who bought it? Timber buyer. Guess why they bought it? Because of my appraisal. So for anyone listening, even if you're like, oh, I'm not going to cut the timber, I love white oaks. Great. Get an appraisal for them. Great. Because then that's in your basis. And then maybe you can sit and think about it. Maybe you can think about it when you need 40 grand for food plots in a lake you want to build. And people say, Brett, go to this. People say, well, how am I ever going to get 40 grand to do all your whitetailisms?
Buy the right farm that funds itself.
Correct. It's already there.
Yeah, people just don't realize what sort of values out there as far as timber goes. Guys, there's variables. Like just because there's good white oak on a farm, I mean, how close is the mill? How many mills are there? How much competition is in the area? So it's not just that simple. So I get like it's scary like to buy a farm, and as it should be. And it's not as simple as, oh, good white oak, a lot of money. Yeah, good money, but maybe not as much as you thought because of the mills, and there's a lot of variables there. And it's easy for me to say because I've seen the farms that I've seen, and I've bought a lot of properties now at this point. You learn as you go. Obviously, like I bought my first farm, I screwed up, but you're not going to learn. I still made money, still did great on it, but like, you don't know if you don't try. And so you just learn as you go with anything in life. And so start buying land and you'll figure it out.
So let's talk some more dirt. I want to get to one of his other hot takes. We've had some really good hot takes here. Switchgrass is trash. Mm-hmm. I hate hunting. The other one that I want to dive into, I get to call it what I want. It's my show, Brett. You can say
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. It's my show. It's how it hit me. And Brett and I'll do I love hunting together soon enough. We will. It'll be like the guy that wears the deer costume that does the deer parodies of public land deer versus private deer. Yeah, we'll do something like that. But what I want to get to on another one of your hot takes is states to buy in. And Brett, dude, I was like, I'm not going to admit that I was driving and I'm like, wait, is he going to say it? Wait, what's he going to say? Don't do it. He did it. Anyway. Give us the list of states that you're not, and this is going to throw him under the bus because he's consulting in these states. I know, but he doesn't care. States you're not as high on, maybe tell why, and then states you're super high on if you can, and give us the lens of why you're high on certain states and low on others.
I'll start with the lows. I'm not touching Wisconsin for the most part with a 10-foot pole. Too many hunters.
And by the way, he lives here. So Brett Favre all day, right? This is Brett Smith, not Brett Favre.
No, honestly, the quality is trash. It is. Nobody's going to tell me otherwise. And if you go buy land in the southwest portion of the state, the Crawfords, the Buffalo counties, guys, I go to your farms. They're not nearly as good as they used to be. You're going to pay $8,000 to $10,000 an acre, and you're going to shoot 150-inch deer if you're lucky. A lot of 135s to 145s. You buy land there for $10,000 an acre. You don't do it to shoot does, therefore you don't shoot does. Genetic potential is never met. You guys high grade the herd. You don't shoot bully bucks. It's not worth the money. I'm going to go to a farm down there on Tuesday. I was down there last week. Same thing, guys. Just like not worth the money. And even the rest of the state, like you get closer to Green Bay, just too many hunters. Like it's a big deal to kill a 3-year-old deer on this home property I got. Like you can look at my property all you want. I hope you do come and road hunter on my property. You will waste your time and you will not be impressed like with the quality of deer in this area.
Well, back me up a second. You said, so Wisconsin is home for you, and I don't want to derail us, but is that where you were born and raised?
Born and raised and came back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, because
we just moved back home. I don't live here for deer hunting. That's for sure.
I'm with you. Yeah, dude. And my family's all in West Virginia. Like we moved across the river for opportunity. So I'm like, I had no reason to move other than opportunity. Like all of my wife's family are 2 miles from my family in West Virginia, 2 hours east. So, all right. So, not high on Wisconsin. Prices are too high. I hope my editor and director of marketing, David Gillane, is listening to this portion. David, he wants us to go to Wisconsin and start buying and selling farms. And I'm like, there's a lot of dirt between me and Wisconsin.
There's a justification because there's a lot of buyers. Okay. That would be the justification, but you gotta like, the quality, man. It's just a quality thing for me. Like I don't see the quality here really anywhere. There's one honey hole in the state where land is cheap still that I would buy. It does have its downsides, but really only one. I also would not buy, oh man, I don't want to say this on a podcast with you right now, and I'm thinking about it before I even say it. I got to though. Ohio scares me, but I will give it some perks. The best properties I've seen best properties I've seen in the country were in Ohio this year. But the price per acre scares me, and it scares a lot of people. I don't know if that's a reason to not buy there other than it's expensive, because it will keep going. It just will. There's a lot of cities to a certain extent in Ohio where like you're always within 2 hours of some place. People are just going to keep jacking it up. Ohio scares me from that standpoint. Just the price just keeps going up.
I'm so with you. And I spend a ton of time, and people ask me all the time, why do you only have farms in Southeast Ohio on your website? Well, if you want to pay $9,000 to $13,000 an acre in Adams County down in Cincinnati, or you want to be up in northwestern Ohio in Amish country and you want to pay $9,000 an acre for hunting ground, be my guest, but I don't. think that's
what
what
are you seeing?
What
are you seeing what are you seeing in your neck of the woods? What's stuff going for?
Literally, Brad, I've got a 250 acre farm right now. It's the bottom of the bottom. It's as far as it's been clear cut, it's steep. I don't have the minerals. There is a well and a septic and a house on it. 250 acres I have listed for $699.
Okay.
So
that's still doable.
Cheap, really cheap. And then we have, so on my stuff, high end, like in Muskingum County, which is kind of north central Ohio, which it's a hot area. We're seeing 6 to 8 an acre. And then our southeastern most stuff, I have sold banger farms for 3,600 an acre. Banger farms. Well, I sold a farm 2 years ago that had 200 killed on it for 3,800 an acre. And everybody's like, that's too much. 3,800 an acre. So we just stay southeast because of what you're exactly saying. It's just there's so many counties, dude. We mail in counties and we get phone calls and they're like, yeah, we'll take 18,000 an acre, and they'll get it. So we're just like, forget it. We're out of there.
I still do see the most 200-inch deer in the state, probably of Ohio. I really do.
Really?
It's either, I mean, this year I heard what you said about all the farms you had and stuff like that and the lack of quality. Dude, I got some clients that have 160s to 200s every single year. And the thing that they're doing is killing a lot of does. That's the one thing I can put my thumb on. Whether they're doing it or the farmers around them are killing a lot of does, they just meet genetic potential then. And that's exactly what Southwest Wisconsin, Buffalo County, Pike County is no longer doing. Outfitters run these areas and nobody's killing does. So, but no, Wisconsin, and I live here, I got the most experience here. I just, other than having something out my back door, quality, too many 40-acre parcels, too many 20-acre parcels, a lot of buyers though. So I could justify somebody coming in here and still doing well. And I know people do, but I just don't want to touch it for the quality reasons. Ohio scares me for that reason. Illinois does scare me for price, but there's decent quality in Illinois. Me personally, all my investments are going to Western Kentucky. I know I'm spot burning, guys, but the reality is, and I'll be honest, I'm going to sell farms there too. So I'm not just plugging it for that reason, but I bought them there for the reason of I bought them at the right time. And if you hold them, I'm just proving the point of what's happening in Kentucky. It's about to explode. Mark my words. You can hold a farm there for maybe 2 years and maybe make $2,000 an acre. Not even doing anything to it, which I mean, that's just the reality of it. Right or wrong, feel how you want about it. That is the place, because it's the only place that really hasn't exploded yet. And the quality, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
The quality
awesome,
is there.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into something here that you used to live there. Okay. So when you say Western Kentucky, help me. I know you're saying we're going to spot burn, but I'm trying to understand westernmost edge, westernmost. I've got some experience in north of Louisville. So that's not Western, that's Central, in my opinion. You're talking westernmost. And guys, this is, you've been seeing guys, especially Spooks Band, been killing big deer out of Western Kentucky for a long time. So it's not like, Brett's giving the
Spooks
earth-shattering news. Mm-hmm. Well, okay. So we'll leave it at this, guys. You go look on a map. He said Western Kentucky. Here's the question I want to ask you. Let's tie Ohio. You said Kentucky now. I want to know, and this gets beat to death, but Brett, you're on a lot of properties, so your opinion is going to carry a lot of weight. Give me your take on the baiting. Give me your take on baiting.
It's a problem. It's not the problem, though.
Okay, what is the problem?
People, you want me to be very transparent?
I do.
Trail cameras are a great tool if you use them right. Here's the exact problem. I hear the hunter guys. I hear everybody talking about it. I agree that baiting can be a problem. Here's the exact problem. Okay, you buy trail cameras, you put 20 of them on your property, you get pictures of big buck A, B, and C. Chances are you're not shooting anything but big buck A, B, and C. You don't shoot the bully bucks, you don't manage does. Prior to trail cameras and all this intel, a good time to shoot a doe is when it walked in front of you. You don't want to screw up the spot now. So now there's way too many does. Genetic potential is never met. You don't have enough browse because you're too scared to open up the canopy. You have too many deer on your property. I hate to say that, but that's like an issue, and we need to handle it before somebody higher up does handle it for us. So whether it's earn a buck or whatever, the doe numbers are absolutely an issue because of the way we use trail cameras. We did a 3-year study in 3 states where we'd sit over trail camera locations. And I got to explain this correct so people understand how the process worked, but we sat over them.
Amazing.
We sat over them and we looked and we paid attention to what crossed those cameras. If anybody knows how to put a camera up in the right locations, it's your boy. I'm all over. I should be able to put them in the right spot. First scrape outside the bedroom, I know where the hot spots are. Sitting over the best spot on my farm. And we got it first scrape outside the bedroom. I got a camera on it. That morning in the timber, I saw 30 deer, 20 within bow range, 0 across the hottest scrape on the property. 3 to 5%, guys. That's what we've ended up coming up with on all those sets. About 3 to 5% of the deer that we saw in the timber that day actually crossed the trail camera. So like you're getting all the deer on camera at some point, but you're not getting these live results like you think you are. And that's why for me personally, when hunting, like a midnight picture is enough for me to go hunting a lot of times. You don't realize how many times he's walking behind that sucker. But to get back to it, we all use trail cameras wrong. We don't shoot enough does, therefore. We don't shoot the bully bucks anymore. We pick A, B, C buck. We only shoot them. And if we don't get them, we don't kill a deer. And yeah, it's all because of the way we use trail cameras, if I had to be honest with you. If God forbid, like we got rid of trail cameras tomorrow, I know I'd be fine. I wouldn't be worried about it one bit. And I say that with a trail camera sponsor even. But like if they were gone tomorrow and we couldn't use them anymore, I'd be fine. But the reality is if you use them wrong, they're hurting you.
Well, and
hurting the country.
Ty, and I like this take. And I think obviously, hunter guys, we've become friends now. And I know you, like I said, you've been on their podcast. I think it was one of the best ones they had, other than mine. But anyways, the shameless plug. They say it all the time too about trail cameras and how this has given us the ability to, like you said, snipe the farm, essentially that's all we want to do is just snipe the only good deer on the farm. Even if it's a 3-year-old, even if it's a 3-year-old 160, we just snipe that deer because we know he's there. Go back to, Brett, why I would like literally full proponent, please. I say it all the time. I would be happy as can be for them to ban baiting. I'm going to have 2 hunts come out here in the next 2 months. Apparently you're supposed to put hunts out in July. Don't know why, but that's when mine are going to come out. Can't wait to get crucified. 2 hunts in a row over bait. 2 hunts in Ohio over bait. Strategic bait. Moving bait to a corner where it's killable in bow range on a farm that I don't have set up type thing. Yep. Strategic, but we're gonna, whatever. We're gonna get crucified. But I'd be so ecstatic they got rid of baiting, and I also would be ecstatic if we all had to quit using trail cameras. Because go back to why do we hate hunting again? There's no excitement when you already know what's on the farm. There, especially if you don't even want to hunt the farm. Imagine the feeling like, and I've had it owning, and I'm sure you've owning farms, and you're like, there's nothing in here I want to shoot. Yeah. How deflating is it in your brain to feel there's nothing in here I want to shoot? Like you just said, like we think we're getting the full sample size. And what if we just didn't know? You're back to hunting again. You're back to loving the land for what it is. It just so happens to not have a deer on it with a lot of calcium on his head. That you're back to just loving what this was supposed to be. I think the trail cameras have ruined the quality of the hunt as well for that.
Especially the way we use them. Like you got to use more woodsmanship. And once you get the buck on camera, maybe if that's what you're interested in doing, like kind of got to throw them to the side because you're only getting 3 to 5% of the live intel of what's actually taking place. And that's running a camera, by the way, every 5 acres on the farm on average on those farms. So like, you're not going to tell me I ran three cameras and like, oh, you only got 5% for that reason. No, like I was running a camera every 5 acres on average. So we had the farm littered and we still weren't catching anything really. Yeah,
so you think that trail camera issue is you just think that's obviously a multi-state, anywhere we can use trail cameras. You think that's one of the biggest multi-state national issues, not specific to, Kentucky or Ohio or wherever.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, we all use them that way. We use them like a video game. We sit on the couch until the trail camera goes off and then we go hunt. Like, and here's the thing, like, I don't want to just blame trail cameras. Like, yeah, it's the tool, but it's really how we use them. Honestly. And it does take away from the excitement because you know of everything that's there in most cases, in most scenarios too. I will agree with that. But the way we use them is really what I want to stress here. Like you pick your bucks, you only shoot those bucks and you don't manage the herd. So like you're using them as a management tool, but they're actually hurting your management if you use them that way more than they're helping you.
It's so true. So maybe let's give some contrast here. I want to get to Kentucky and not just so much Kentucky, but kind of what your land buying hat is wanting to do right now, kind of what your plays are. But take southeastern Ohio right now. There's a lot of guys that are sitting on the sidelines on farms here in southeastern Ohio because of EHD, and they've been recently hit hard. And I've got a take on that I think you would subscribe to, where name me a great place to buy a farm at under market and hold it and watch it heal and 100%. Express its full genetic potential, because the does that you're talking about, they're dead now.
It just solved the problem. It just solved the problem.
We're all good. Correct. Yeah. People Like I literally, the farm that has a 200
You'll be sitting on some gems
6 years ago. They don't.
You'll be sitting on some gems for that reason, because the reset happened that hunters won't do. Like, yeah, it killed a lot of bucks, but now you watch the genetic potential of the next 5 years. I was looking at leases last night in all these bad counties. I'm like, I know it's a lot of money even on a yearly basis, but if I hold this sucker for a little while, I'm like, maybe I'm hunting in Ohio a little bit more for that reason. So it's a good thing in a certain, in a certain facet.
Well, especially for I would call it the long-winded guy, the guy that sees the big picture of a 3 to 5 year plan on a farm. If you can buy it right and you take the next 3 to 5 years to set it up, and maybe you said this, maybe someone else did, but all right, so there's not a deer to hunt. There's time to now go in here in November and plant apple trees when you thought you would be wanting to hunt. You're out here being intentional, because in 3 years, that 170 plus deer in that area that was able to fully express himself likes your farm now. And you didn't sit on the sidelines and wait for that to happen.
I mean, I'll plug you in your areas. Like if the reason somebody's not going to buy your farm because there's not a good deer on it right now, it's a terrible reason, because we just had a massive disease and that's your reason. It's not because it's a bad property. Your properties will be some of the top tier properties, possibly even in the state, because of the reset that took place, that needed to take place. Hence, like, is the biggest issue that I see anywhere in the country. And now that reset has taken place in some of these EHD places, you thought the quality was good in Ohio before, and we see some big bucks. Give it 3-4 years, give it 5 years. You're going to see it. And don't say I didn't tell you. You should buy land. You should buy land in some of these EHD ridden areas of Ohio. Maybe not the entire state, around the cities. Cincinnati, don't get me wrong, giant deer. I ain't paying those prices. That's why I said I disliked it, but also I can make a justification. Here I am going back on what I said. I hate Ohio for buying land. There's those hotbed areas where EHD hit. I think it's a great investment, honestly.
Pow! Shots fired.
Go.
I mean, we talk about Meigs County a lot, but Brett, go look at Meigs County. I'm sure you've been in Meigs County. It's southeastern Ohio. Meigs County quietly has been one of the top big buck producing counties in Ohio for the past 5 years. Well, guess what? EHD. Guess what? Me has 2 banger farms here in Meigs County on my website right now. Big farms. One of them is, it was 200 killed on it. Like, what else do you want? People are like, hey man, how many deer are on camera right now? I literally had a guy back out from going and looking at it, because he's like, oh, there's only a 150 from last year left on it, like, or whatever. I mean, like I have the full study. It's not my cameras. It's the people that we got it from. It's not my cameras. It's just the short-sightedness of, like, you can't buy the genetic potential that's always existed there. There was a 180 on the farm last summer that probably died. You can't buy the genetic potential every day, and you can't buy the canvas. You can't buy the area every day. Now you're getting the golden ticket, and everybody's like, no deer. Not doing it. Silly.
Yeah.
It's just silly.
So whoever does pull those triggers on those farms, though, they're going to be sitting pretty in a couple of years. That's all it comes down to. And honestly, like, we think about it, like, it takes 5 years to grow a 5-year-old buck. There's a couple that made it through that might give you something worth hunting next year and the year after. And they might be blowing up. Like, that 150 might be a 195 next year, just because social stress, more browse, all these other variables.
Yeah. And I mean, Brett, we could talk about this for hours, but I've been on farms, and I'm sure you have too, where when you plant a 3-acre bean field, there's 50 deer in it. It's decimated, but you never had a chance because there's too many deer. So any food plot you plant, it's just mowed over. Every effort you're trying to give to the farm is just like, hey, the problem is we need to kill deer. That's your biggest problem, not your food plots, not this, not that. And guys, I'm guilty of it too. I love to plant food plots. I love to see it happen. I love to see the green in the fall, and the nice big brassicas. And then when they get mowed over, now the greatest reset has happened. So all these things you want to do to see flourish can actually flourish in these previously really high density areas. I really think Meigs, Athens, it's been Meigs, Athens, Washington here in parts of Gallia, that general southeastern area of Ohio that's been hit the hardest. I just think people are going to really regret not being more intentional with that here in the next couple of years. But I want to shift gears to, we don't have to spot burn Kentucky, or we can go off of Kentucky. But Brett, in general, what is your land buying hat? You're not wearing your consultant hat right now, unless that obviously goes into what you're looking to buy. What is your land buying hat looking for? And kind of what are some of your plays? How long do you plan to hold? Like, what does your game look like? Your book of tricks.
Yeah, there's definitely, I I'm not going to say I haven't nabbed up some deals that you're just like, okay, that's an insanely low price. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to relist it. Like if I don't do it, somebody does it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's just
capitalism.
Yeah. I mean, it's not my bread and butter, but don't get me wrong. I'm not going to pass up money. And like, we all like to like puff out our chest. Oh, I would never do that. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. If you could. What
would your perimeter be for that, Brett? If you saw one was low in your brain, what's low versus retail? Is that $1,000 an acre low, or like what are you wanting when you see that? I know there's a gut. Everybody just people ask me this. I'm like, it's my gut. I don't know. It's my gut. But what's your barometer?
Dude, I don't really, it is a gut feeling for me and I can say that because I see the country. I'm all over the country. I know where the new Buffalo counties are. I know where the Pike counties are. So when I see something in those areas that is low valued for the area, then I feel comfortable. Like I don't have a margin. I don't look at it and say I have to make this much on it. Like it's a gut feeling. And obviously like in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, I can probably make this much, per acre or whatever else. But like, I mean, there's been like a 20-acre farm where my realtor literally said, hey, if you don't buy this, I'm gonna. And I don't know.
That's a pretty good plug, huh?
he must not have had the cash on hand and literally like just relisted the farm and put it at the price it was supposed to be at with everything else in the area. And you can poo-poo that all you want, but like it was, what are you gonna do though? That falls in your lap. Otherwise, like for the most part, like my strategy right now is to hold farms a little bit longer. I'm obsessed with turning the farm into something, seeing the results, and honestly, passing it off to the next guy. I don't need to kill big deer anymore. Like I like living through, that's why camp is so important to me. I've been very fortunate in my hunting career. So now I can take people who aren't as fortunate and in my own hunting camps and put them on the deer. Put my father-in-law on the biggest deer. He killed a 9-year-old on one of my farms. Like around here, that's insane. I want to do the same thing with whoever buys my farm. Like I'm generally selling them at their peak. I really am. Like, I'll tell you right now, I know this sounds psychotic. If I had a 200-inch deer on camera, I would think about selling the farm instead of shooting the deer because it would bump up the value of the farm significantly. So like from a business standpoint, I can make that justification. But a lot of times, like I'm holding multiple years. We're doing big TSI projects, getting it about 2 to 3 years after a cut or a TSI project so that it's at its peak. And now here's the keys to the farm. Have fun. Go sit in this stand. Shoot me the picture on November 7th because you're going to. And yep. Just, and I'm doing it from a timber standpoint, focused in a lot of scenarios, helps pay the payments on the farm, helps pay for the farm, and then, justifies the purchase. But I have farms in Kentucky too that I'll say right now, like I didn't cut the timber on them. They were just that cheap. And I probably could have listed them the next day and made money on them. But instead I'll just hold them for a couple of years and we'll hunt them. And one of them I only spent 2 days on last year and whatever else. And it's beautiful, but it doesn't always have to have timber, but it's got to be a good deal for the areas that I spent time in, and I know the neighborhood. So I will. People don't talk about western Kentucky, like right in the corner. I call it like King's Corners because you can tag out and go run to another state 15 minutes away. That's one of the hidden gems of the country, and the land is still cheap there.
Tell me this: we got family in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we love that area. But how far would where you're talking about be from there? Because it can't be that far. I mean, what in Tennessee? If we're going to say destination Tennessee areas, that can't be more than hour.
Dude, I'm talking
pretty east.
Knoxville.
Yeah, Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm saying I'm going to look here. We're going to.
I was going to pull up my maps. I don't think Knoxville's close to even where I was talking. Like I'm talking far west.
All right. I thought that was pretty west for Tennessee.
You know what? Maybe I'm just geographically challenged.
Maybe I'm stupid too, which is okay. Maps. We're just hijacking it. We're just holding everybody hijacked here. It's fine.
That's all right. We want to give them the right information.
Yeah, we can hold them. So Knoxville, yeah, man, it's pretty east. So
did I say east?
Well, but you're saying West Kentucky. In my brain, I'm thinking, well, Kentucky, Western Kentucky is closer to Eastern Tennessee. You follow me?
Western Kentucky.
Yeah, it is. It's north of there. Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta pull
Hold on. No. Hold on. I'm off. Never mind. They're straight above each other. This is funny. Nashville. It'd be Nashville. It's Nashville that's going to be closer. It's going to be Nashville.
Oh, for sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. You know what? Whatever. Everybody.
North and west of Nashville, honestly.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Way too far east.
Well, that's what so let me back to what the heck was I talking about? Like, if let's pretend it's Nowhereville, Kentucky, and there's nothing there.
There is nothing in far Western.
Right. So, but I'm saying, if it can't be that far from destination stuff. So even if somebody's like, well, what would you do? Well, you, like me, I'd take your family to CMA week in Nashville. It's an hour away or whatever it is, it's just, you got, find ways to have things around it. But, so you're, and I think the listeners already get this and sort of digest it, but you're able to create enough active income through all of your consulting and all the other income streams that you have that you can stomach to just pay the debt, cover the debt service on your farms that you're going to hold a couple years. Maybe you cut some timber to influx some cash into this farm or this or that. But Brett is not a Tyler in the sense that I go in, I use private investors on most of my deals. I use private investors. I'm paying them interest only. The clock ticks. So if I'm going to hold a farm 2 years, I either need to mortgage it myself, and just cover the debt service, or me and that investor have to have some kind of a partnership, because that's how I'm doing more deals, is because I'm using other people's private money along with me to service a deal, but I'm paying interest only. So that, that clock has to move faster for me on when I can sell it. You're saying, hey, you're kind of good to set up camp, cover your debt service with some of the internal and external means. And then obviously that always is a long-term capital gain. So that really helps you. And you're able to do a lot more. This is the thing I'll say that I love about your ideas is you're in 2 years, you can do light years more to a farm and let it heal even than I can in 4 months or 6 months.
Yeah, the healing is a big deal, especially just the aesthetics. Like a lot of people say, oh, I just want big bucks. No, you care about some aesthetics too. So we make sure if you wait a little bit longer, it just heals, like you said. And selfishly, like I think I can make a lot of money flipping these very quick, but selfishly, I want to see what I can do. I want to see if I implement a lot of the strategies that I use on clients' properties, like, does this make a considerable difference? And then let the next guy reap the benefit. Now we're going to kill a couple deer on it on occasion, but now I've got enough farms where we don't really even, we build them up. We don't really spend a lot of time on them. Like this far Western Kentucky farm that I have right now, I spent 2 days on it. Like I got pictures of 10 bucks in one photo on numerous locations at once. Like we just don't spend the time there because I got a handful of different places to go. But we spend a lot of time on the farms, building them, not necessarily hunting them. But if I got a good one to go hunt on occasion, and if I can make it work in the schedule, I'm still gonna go kill them. But yeah, they're low pressure farms. So now if you get a low pressure farm from me from 2 or 3 years, it's a low pressure farm. Who knows what's going to be there? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah. I just like building them and passing them off. And I know that seems psychotic and don't you hunt to kill big deer? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, but it means a lot to me. I'll be sitting on the couch and my wife's like, why are you smiling right now? This guy from years ago, we sold this thing to, he just killed his daughter, killed their biggest deer, whatever. I don't know. That's, I know it's not relatable. That's what does it for me. I know
it is. It is to me. It's just like the guy, we were talking about turkey hunting the other day, the guy that loves to call turkeys and see people kill them more than he ever wants to kill them. It's the same thing when you start to see land and see someone else catch on to what you hold true to and the values you hold deep to. You see them have that happen on dirt you sold them. It's fulfilling. It's just fulfilling. It's not about it doesn't matter what the money was. It does not. It's what, the stuff you can't put a price on, that MasterCard, commercial. Brett, I got one more, I could go hours with you, man. This has been a ton of fun. And I want to say one more thing here, because my listeners are going to be like, oh, you're just following in Brett's footsteps. I wish you had said another state, because what we're planning to do, we bought our first project. We're buying, I should be clear here, we're about to close on our first project farm in Illinois. We have decided, I like hunting Illinois myself, so I obviously want to have some business there so I can happen to write that stuff off. But we bought our first project farm, or buying our first project farm in Knox County, Illinois. Super excited about it, but the next state that I've always kind of had in my eyes is Kentucky, on purpose, because I'm close to it. I have hunting experience there. I've got some stuff going on in Louisville area. That's Kentucky for me, from Columbus. I could probably be there in 4.5 hours or 5 hours from even where you're talking. And I don't go that far. I'm in that Louisville area, and I've got some experience on the eastern side, but I like that it's over the counter. I like that land's still affordable. I'm whatever about the baiting. That's a here nor there with me. I like their early season rules. I like a lot of things that I see there. $1 is this to me is a good one, combined with, they have a rifle season and all these things that, I'm here nor there, but Kentucky's been in my eye. So I want to, my listeners, we kind of dangled a carrot a few weeks ago that we have a third state. It's just not like now. It's just not now. I'm very conscious of our resources, but it's going to be Kentucky. So, Brett, if you have anything you want to play ball together on, or you need to fund a deal or whatever, let's do some business together. I promise I won't have another consultant come. You can do the consulting.
I don't blame you if you want to get multiple sets of eyes on it. That's okay too.
I'm kidding you, but I'm not. I'm not going to spot burn for sure. I don't have any experience.
Well, I'll be honest, guys. Like there's still like the new Buffalo counties, the new Pike counties of the country. I didn't talk about those areas, so like I didn't give away the secret hit. Everybody kind of knows Western Kentucky's good. I'm here to confirm that. I live there. Yeah, there's giants there, but I'll tell you right now, there's new Buffalo counties, there's new Pike counties, and nobody knows about them because they don't have the luxury of traveling the country like I do. There are places where land is cheap.
Give me one of your hottest take sleeper states. You don't even have to give the county, but where is a state that's going to start to be on the map that maybe hasn't, or whatever is one of your hotter takes?
I could go far northeast and make a call on some of those states up there. You know which state I actually really liked this year was in and around like eastern Louisiana. And nobody would have ever guessed I was going to say that.
No, man. I've got a friend whose son moved there years and years ago, and the pictures he'd always send me, dude, giants.
Yeah, here's the thing. Where the little quick tip in any state for people, where the big ag starts meeting the big timber in that state, if it happens in that state, that line is generally the line you want to purchase on. The land's a little bit cheaper because the timbers may be a little bit cheaper versus agriculture, but you still get the perks of ag in that area. There are lines in states. If you look at maps, that's one of the little hot tips I'll give. I gave more than I should have, but yeah.
Go look in Ohio where the Appalachians meet the big ag, and it happens to be an area called Lancaster, Ohio. And guess where my land is?
Exactly.
So, I'm with you, my man. I got a friend here, a realtor friend that I really respect, and he said it like a year and a half ago, where the big ag meets the Appalachians is right through this area, and we got bangers, and he was right. So we kind of try to focus on that. Dude, I got a 100,000 foot view question. And, other than, hey, will you please be my friend after this, and go you, and you're doing awesome. And I would hire you in a minute. And I think you're awesome. And I think you have great takes.
Thank you,
Brett. This is a big one. Okay. I ask a lot of my listeners this. You're busy, right? You're busy. You're successful. You're creating a lot of chaos, which I love. It's infectious for me to hear this stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for? Like, what's it for you when you're done, when they bury you?
Man, that's deep. I used to always wanted to be known as, like, in my early stages, I wanted to be known as like, oh, the best hunter who killed the biggest deer. I don't give a damn about that. I want to be known as the guy who encouraged more people to get into hunting, maybe sacrificed his own hunts so that somebody else could kill a deer on a farm that I've spent hundreds and millions of maybe even dollars on, so that they had the hunt of their lifetime. I want to live vicariously through other people in their hunting experiences. I want to build farms, spend my own money, my own time, so that others can benefit. Because I think for me to selfishly buy, and maybe it happens someday, but 1,000 acres and I'm the only guy to hunt it, and I displace a bunch of hunters, like, no, I better start a camp there. I better get other people involved, because that's what the future of hunting is. We all got to be honest with ourselves. How'd you get into hunting? There's probably some sort of camp atmosphere. So to let that all go to the wayside, guys, man, it's one of my missions. Like, make a deer hunting camp, guys. And if you don't have one, whether it's a bow camp, you do an annual bow trip, or a gun season, I want to be known as a camp guy who got all my friends and family, and maybe somebody random that I meet one day involved.
Let's go. I love that everybody has to have a different story, and I love that. And being busy with what you're being busy with, I like that you're not measuring your ripple effect by how much dirt did I sell, or how much, money did I leave in the bank, or do my kids kill a 200, or all these things that people can say.
Money has never motivated me once, and it's funny how that if you just chase the passion, the money comes anyway. Never motivated me. Never motivated me. Never once. I just chased my passion, and guys, I'm in a very fortunate spot, and I have a lot of people to thank for that. Like, I'm nothing without clients. I'm nothing without whatever my audience and everything like that too. So, if you're afraid to quit, I mean, I'm giving life advice here now. If you're afraid to quit that job, but you got but you have like a passion lined up or something, you'll figure it out. Put yourself in that bad situation, because chances are you're going to figure it out. You're not going to let yourself fail. And that's all it was for me. So yeah, I'm rambling, but dive in, guys.
This is like literally, dude, this is the stuff that I mean, the guy that I took with me the other day just to look at land 10 years ago, I told him how to wholesale houses. And he told me how that changed his life. And I didn't know that. And he wants to know what we're going to do with land now. And I was telling my farm manager, I'm like, well, the problem with having Josh in the truck today is he's now going to be competition. But I love it because I love him and he is a go-getter. And if I say something, he'll do it. And he will, and he's gonna. But I'm like you. I don't care. I want everybody to want what they want. And I want them to get it. I want them to have it. Because it's just not about all of us burning everybody else's bridge down or towers down to make ours the best. There's a lot more fun to be had when you get to have community with people, watch their dreams come true. And Brett, I know you echo this. It has been so fulfilling to me to watch clients do what you're saying. Where like I had a guy send me pictures last fall. I told him, dude, there's a 180 on this farm. Like almost every year there has to be. This area is there. The funnel is there. This farm is like a satellite farm. It's it's a pinch of all pinches. You're gonna have deer on camera November 7th through the 15th that you just never knew existed. You are. What did he do? Send me pictures. Giants. And he's like, dude, I'm so glad. Like I cut this timber and it did this and did that. It's like, that's what I said. That's what I said would happen. And you're just proving that it would happen. And it's so I don't want your farm back at all. I just want you to keep killing giants because it feels great to tell you that that's what was going to happen, or kill a deer. I don't care. Whatever it is to you that you wanted that I helped you accomplish. It's good stuff, dude. I could go for hours. I've appreciated you guys or you being on here and everybody that's listened this far. Brett is pretty easy to get a hold of, but Brett, go ahead and plug where do people or how do you prefer people reach out to you if they want to have your services?
Yeah, Instagram, Whitetail Land Management Services, Facebook, same thing. Otherwise, my email, whitetaillandmanagement@gmail.com. I'll do my best to get back with you guys. We're busy, but I'm always here to help people. I have a hard time turning down jobs. Just want to be a part of everybody's story so that they can have some success. And if I can help in any way possible, I will. But chances are we're getting you on the books for next year at this point if you get a hold of me. But yeah. Appreciate you having me on, man. And I will say I respect how much information you're willing to give. I can't say I always do that. You're I don't want to say you're okay with breeding the competition, but like you're giving a lot of people opportunities through the conversations that you have. And a lot of people like to keep things in their back pocket. But the reality is I can only buy so much land and you can only buy so much land. And you're probably making a lot of people's lives better by giving a lot of this info out. And you're definitely more willing than even I personally am sometimes. So kudos to you, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I have to earn my own pillow. And I was raised that if I'm the only one winning, it's really selfish, and I do. Sometimes I wonder, are we breeding competition? And the thing I wonder sometimes is, are we breeding the wrong competition? Because I feel like we do, Brett. You do it. You have to work as hard to fight the hating and the negativity and the bad people that get into this space as you do ever to promote the good that comes out of it. And that's draining, that's draining. But if I can empower someone along their journey, take their first step in buying land, make their first, land better, become a land steward, spray their own first food plot, any of the things that that you're like, dude, this starts a fire for someone. It'll start an itch. And when I see that, it's just, it's insatiable. Like it's palpable to feel where they're going to go. And I like it. So I appreciate you saying that. Everybody, thanks for sticking with us this week. This has definitely been an episode of the Legacy Through Land podcast. Go follow Brett or I'll sue you because he has really, really good content. I might, it's a lot of paperwork, but I would try. Go follow Brett. He's really, really good. I'd love to share camp with you sometime. And I mean that.
We will.
I would. So let's definitely do it. And that's going to be enough spot burning. Switchgrass is trash. And you guys need to shoot smaller bucks. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode. If you're finding value in this content, we'd love to hear from you. It'd mean a lot if you could share with us how this podcast is helping you on your journey and let us know of any topics you'd like us to cover in the future. Be sure to connect with us on all social platforms at Legacy Acres Land Co. and subscribe to stay updated on when new episodes drop. We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Legacy Through Land podcast, and we'll see you next week.